Brett Veach era, right? Just because you mentioned the Bucs Super Bowl, and because of what had happened in the Super Bowl, they end up getting Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, and kind of the rest is history with that. And they just completely nailed that draft. And then we fast forward to now, okay, this past year, nobody's saying that this past draft wasn't important. Of course it was, but you go into this season, you have some bad injury luck with a couple of your draft picks. We'll see long-term what it turns out to be. You feel great about Josh Simmons, though. Okay, so now you go into this offseason, you're coming off a year where we think you're going to miss the playoffs for the first time in your time as the general manager, and as obviously Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback. And so that automatically puts more pressure on you heading into an offseason. It doesn't mean you need to panic. It doesn't mean, and I don't think they will, doesn't mean you need to, quote-unquote, overreact, but you have to certainly treat it like it is a more important offseason, if that makes sense, in terms of how you go about your business with being willing to make the tougher decision on, I think we all know the name, which is the trade market, which is being willing to trade, if needed, somebody like Trent McDuffie away, as tough as that is, if it means building back a new core group via the draft in a more effective way because you have multiple first-round picks and otherwise. So, this is an extremely important draft for Brett Veach and for the Chiefs. My thing is, and I wonder if you view it this way, we've talked about, are they going to end up with 10 wins when it's all said and done, 9 wins, whatever it's going to be. And I would like to think what we've seen already this year on the field has caused them to look in the mirror as an organization, recognize the clear flaws. Or do you think they need a completely whiff here in the final 4 games for them? Like, let's say they finish with 10
I think that this is enough of a wake-up call.
It better be.
I don't think they got to go 0-4 to find this.
It better be. What I'm saying is, if they were to get to 10 wins and just lose out on a tiebreaker, are they going to try to talk themselves into like, just bad break here or there, we're good. That would terrify me if that's, and I'm not saying that's their thought process, but are you worried that would be it? There's part of me that would be worried, not on the front office side, but on the coaching side. They would say, we were this close. We were 1 or 2 plays away.
I think we've seen them get all the way to a Super Bowl and get whipped, Gold, and still not just be like, we were 1 or 2 plays away. They still made changes, real changes. And this goes back to the other part, which is, what is your confidence level that Brett Veach won't miss on the pick? I'll be honest, I'm on the fence on his ability to evaluate top-end talent, as I have been for years. The 3 best players on the team were not drafted by him. Patrick Mahomes, who I know he had a major influence on. I don't want to get back into that. Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. He did draft Trent McDuffie. I would say he's the 4th best player on the team, so it's not like he's way off base. The 5th best player on the team is also probably drafted by him too. But here's his history as a guy picking in the first round. He didn't have a pick in 2018 because he was a part of the Patrick Mahomes. Didn't have a first-round pick in 2019. His first pick those years were Breeland Speaks and McCole Hardman. Didn't go great. Early draft stuff, and he didn't have a great draft class. His first-round pick was Clyde. He had a couple of decent players in there, good players. L'Jarius Sneed, Willie Gay, those are good players. Mike Dan has been a productive NFL player. Then he had no first-round pick again. His highest pick was Nick Bolton, still a starter for him. Creed Humphrey, still a starter for him. Good players. Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, when he had first-round picks again. Great player, I think, in Trent McDuffie, and good player in George Karlaftis. Felix, whiff. Worthy, we'll see. Right now, it's underwhelming where he picked him. Let's just be honest. It's underwhelming. Simmons, a complete unknown. So, I
don't know if it's a complete unknown.
It's okay. It's incomplete. Will you accept that?
Yeah, I mean, I think
he looks like he could be a star. I need to actually see him be doing on the field.
Yeah, he certainly has to play more than he played his rookie season. But in terms of what he is as a football player, if you can promise me that he's going to have availability next year and beyond, then they completely nailed that pick. Anyway, go ahead. But that's the only one I would push back.
As in, I just don't want to declare it good. Yeah. Because I think if we had done that with Xavier Worthy last year, he got that first-round pick right. Wouldn't look that way right now. I don't think he got it wrong, but right now it looks like he just drafted McCole Hardman again based on the 2-year aggregate average, but also he was hurt this year and the offense was off and the team was off, and I'm just willing to wait to figure out what – I'd say the incomplete grade probably applies to Xavier Worthy as well, in the sense that, Simmons gets back on the field. There's a chance that's an absolute home run. But in the star category, you could argue he's maybe found one. Trent McDuffie, an all-pro player. You got to find all-pro players. And if you're picking 15th, he's got to find an all-pro player.
Well, and I get the skepticism it sounds like you have about it. I would just say, there is absolutely, not to get into the semantics that you and I go back and forth about pick 32 and almost the second round and all that. Like, there is a massive difference picking in the top 20 than picking 28 to 32. And your likelihood of striking gold, if you will, right? Like, you would agree with the likelihood of finding that player that you're describing in the top 20 is much greater than at 28 to 32. Not a guarantee, but that would be my only pushback on the year-by-year first-round pick, and nobody's disputing. He obviously whiffed on Felix, and obviously Clyde did not turn out to be the pick that everybody thought he was going to be. But I absolutely think if you are looking as a general manager, and we could go back and look at some of these other GMs.
Oh, there's a similar whiff rate.
If you're picking in the top 20, your success rate is going to be higher. It's going to be higher. And hopefully this is the only time for another decade that they pick inside the top 15, if that's what it ends up being. There's still a chance they end up picking 17th or 18th when this thing is all
18th
said
is
done.
the worst they can finish if they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Obviously, just do the math.
Sure.
32 minus 14 equals. But so when you start looking at that 18th, but still,
the only challenge this year, the only challenge this year will be when we look at this is going to change 50 times before we get to the draft. Okay, we have till end of April, and the combine hasn't happened. The college football season hasn't even wrapped up yet. But we always know when you're the Chiefs, you want as many quarterbacks taken as possible in front of you. Mm-hmm. And right now, it's early. Right now, it only looks like 2.
1, 2, yeah, not many.
And that stinks.
But
you want more quarterbacks, taken in front of you so that the other
finds their way in, right? Usually,
we'll see. Of course, the quarterbacks right now we're talking about are Mendoza, Dante Moore in the top 10, maybe, and then Ty Simpson would be the third. Those could be the third or the 3 first rounders. But would Ty Simpson go in front of the Chiefs? Hopefully, that'd be nice for the Chiefs' sake.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, as many wide receivers. Is there any other position we're willing to let go in front of them? Running backs? Any running backs? Any quarterbacks? Is there any other position we're fine to just let happen in front of the Chiefs pick?
I mean, I think there's probably some Chiefs fans that would like them to draft Jeremiah Love. I don't think they need to do that as much as I want them to get more explosive at running back.
But if they went ahead of you at 15, so be it.
Sure.
You know, like some of it's just that. It's not about the whether or not, but that'd be the only running back.
See, this is where like we can be critical of Brett Veach. By no means has he been perfect. There's mistakes, there's moves I wouldn't have made. But like 913-586-7965. This is where I get frustrated. Someone says, what evidence do we have that Veach can execute a first-round pick? Dorsey was fired for less. No, that's not why Dorsey was fired. Dorsey couldn't manage the damn cap. That's why he got fired.
Yep.
Had nothing to do with the draft picks.
Correct.
Had nothing to do with the draft picks.
No, I mean, if anything, it's like, and in fairness, he didn't actually get to see Mahomes step on a football field. He got to draft him.
Right.
But it's not like, because here's the truth. John Dorsey had a hard time managing the cap. There's no doubt about it. Had Patrick Mahomes started his rookie year, and put up the kind of numbers he put up in his second year in the NFL when he was a full-time starter, something tells me John Dorsey might have kept his job. Because if they would have watched Mahomes do that, they might have been like, you know what? I don't know. But look, I'm not saying this goes back to being a GM is not just about the draft. That is not the only part of the job. There are multiple parts of the job. And so from a draft perspective, I don't think he's the 5 best drafters in the NFL, okay? I think he's probably like the 8th best drafter. Or the 9th best drafter. He's not the worst either. Don't get me wrong. But I think he's great at a lot of other things. He's been very good in free agency. He's been good at team building. He's been good at in-season moves that make a small thing. I don't think you have a bad GM and get to back-to-back Super Bowls and have a team in a Super Bowl 5 out of the last 6 years. I just don't think you can be a bad GM.
Yeah.
And do
people
those
are just
things.
like trying to rewrite history. I mean, people are arguing that the cap had nothing to do with John Dorsey. That's just inaccurate. That's not.
And I covered the team at that time, and absolutely was the single biggest reason he got fired.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was other reasons too.
Sure. But people are trying to rewrite histry on that whole thing.
Yeah. Some of it's a power thing, right? Like there was a little bit of a stuff where
Andy and Dorsey.
Yeah, Andy and Dorsey had a little bit of not a power struggle, but they didn't work as well together as him and Brett Veach do, and so that was certainly a part of it. Look, I can give you the other things, but if you said, let's rank them. Number 1 reason John Dorsey got canned. Number 1 is he screwed up the cap, and they were in a bad financial position to win.
Yeah. Now, look, if you want to argue, and this is why we're saying it's setting up to be one of the most important drafts of the Brett Veach era. If you want to say, hey, now that we think this era of the dynasty, this dynasty version 1 or whatever we want to call it, is done, you got to find the next tier of these so-called pillars, foundational pieces, however you want to describe it, moving forward. You've had Kelsey and Jones and Mahomes, and yes, those were John Dorsey picks. Now it's time to find your own. for the next iteration of the dynasty to go with Mahomes. And maybe McDuffie is part of that. And if he is, then that's the guy that you drafted, of course. But who's the next group? Who's the next stud defensive player that we talk about for another 5 years that is a pillar? Who's the next offensive star player when Kelsey's out that you talk about to go with Mahomes that is the star player? Because right now, I don't think that player exists on offense. I don't as much as we talked yesterday about Rashee Rice, I don't think he's going to fall into the pillar category for a variety of reasons. So yeah, that's the challenge, and that is the task of Brett Veach and what he's going to be judged on moving forward. Is what he does in the next couple of drafts and free agency to see if he can find key pieces that become the foundational pillars of hopefully the next dynasty run that they can go on.
Yeah, I just wonder whether or not, and again, I think I'm a reason on this, and a reasonable person on this, Gold, in the sense that I think Brett Veach is probably a top 3 GM in pretty much every part of the job. When it comes to the draft, I'd probably rank him like 7th, 6th. He's not bad at it, because the one part that we don't want to talk about is I get that Brett Veach found some stars like Chris Jones and Travis Kelce in the 3rd round, or Dorsey did. Brett Veach has found a lot of really good starters, man. Rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, including round 7. Brett Veach is a hero. That man keeps putting people on the field. Jalen Watson has been a starting corner for this team for 4 years. Isaiah Pacheco has been a starting running back for multiple years. Both those guys are 7th-round picks. 7th-round picks aren't even guaranteed to make your roster. Trey Smith just got paid as the highest guard in the NFL. He was in the 6th. I'm not delusional, Gold. I obviously know the Brett Veach, but here's the thing. I'm talking about the 15th overall pick. I need to know he can find the biggest talent in the draft at 15. This is a can't miss. That's all I'm saying. Meanwhile, obviously the biggest story in sports yesterday was all of a sudden Michigan doesn't have a coach because of, I would say, pretty sordid details coming out now of what appeared to be a pretty big falling out with Moore and, of course, what happened over at Michigan.
I think it's more just a falling out.
Well,
I mean,
I was trying to soften it.
Falling out is a way too soft way. Let's just tell like it is. He's accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a staffer, and yeah, we don't have to get into the more specific details after that. But I think it's more than just had a falling out. It's not like they got in an argument over what uniforms are going to be next year. I mean, let's not downplay what it is.
They're in a weird spot. Because, look, people were tired of Moore for the reasons that are you don't beat Ohio State and you don't get to the college football playoff. People are always going to can you at one of the big major programs. The personal details of this, and I encourage you all to read them, they're pretty bleak. I don't know if this is the end of Moore's coaching career, but it's probably the end of his head coaching career for now. Look, Bobby Petrino somehow got himself back coaching as the head coach at some point at Arkansas, so I don't want to rule out anything. College sports are crazy. And I don't have to go back through how many different times people tried to rehire Art Briles after the mess that took place with him in Baylor. So
he is coaching, not at any big level. But.
So I don't want to say that he's got no chance to coach ever again. What the hell's going to happen here? Are they going to try to steal somebody from one of the power schools? Or they could just go Joe Brady. Couldn't they just go big time college? None of the NFL names that we saw rumored to be possible college coaches got plucked. Could they not go the college or the assistant in the NFL route to make their head coach? Why not?
I don't think at Michigan, I don't think it makes sense. Like Joe Brady, if he were to go to college, Joe Brady, I don't think is coaching Michigan. I think Joe Brady will coach, he would coach NC State or something like that.
But it's December 11th, though, Drew. I mean, this is late in the hiring cycle. But technically, the cycle's over, right? Nobody thought there was going to be another job that was going to happen at this point in time.
Not a big one, at least.
I mean,
still a couple of
look, Sharon Moore was a guy that just got promoted from within because of Harbaugh and the mess that's there. So the fact that he was the head coach anyway, while it's a top-tier job, nobody's arguing that. It's Michigan. I don't think it's beneath Michigan to hire somebody like Joe Brady. They just promoted Sharon Moore, for crying out loud. A 39-year-old that started the JUCO level that rose up. It was a great story until now. He ruined it.
In fairness, I think Sharon Moore got that job because of Jim Harbaugh. I think that if they open the cycle, they could find a much better coach than Sharon Moore. But now, just my opinion.
But what about this late, man? All these jobs have been filled. You're kind of up against it in terms of certain candidates. I don't believe Kalen DeBoer is leaving Alabama for Michigan.
I wouldn't think so. I do think that Jed Fish is a name to watch out for in Washington because it would be a job upgrade. And in terms of like coordinators and stuff like that, Glenn Schumann is a really, really good one at Georgia. We saw Dan Lanning go from coordinator at Georgia to Oregon, and he's obviously doing a fantastic job. So I don't think it's not going to be hard for Michigan to get somebody. It's just sorting out what they want to do. And obviously now that it's past signing day, things can obviously change post signing day. It's not that big of a hurdle to jump, but you've got the portal coming up, notably on January 2nd. I think by the time we get to there, they've got to have a head coach sorted out, which I don't think that'll be an issue necessarily, but it'll be an interesting next couple of weeks because Biff Poggi has been named the head coach.
That guy
has been named the interim head coach.
Who?
He's the guy that wears the sleeveless hoodies.
He wears tank tops. Yeah. How many coaches?
What a name.
Oh, we might have sound in the system. That's the guy. You've heard
Biff Poggi
of
is the
him.
interim, and he's preparing to face Texas, who still, by the way, is only a 6.5-point favorite in that game over Michigan. I'm still stunned by that spread being as low as what it is. But I think in the next couple weeks they'll at least have a decision figured out, particularly because they got to get somebody so they can convince Bryce Underwood to stay and those players to stay because they're going to lose a lot of guys.
If I'm Bryce Underwood, I'm gone. Gone. Like, I'm dead serious. If I'm whatever college program needs a quarterback right now, if I'm Eli Drinkwitz, I'm on Bryce, I'm on Underwood's phone as quick as I can get on it. I'm going through whatever back channel I can get through. Why would he stay? This is one of those, this is embarrassing enough for Michigan. This could set them back from being like a serious high-level contender, the kind that they've been for the last decade, for 5 or more years, depending on what happens with this hire.
I don't know anything enough about Underwood, but did he go there because he truly loves Michigan, or did he go there because, you know what I mean?
He's from Michigan.
And that's the
I think
thing.
that was the ultimate thing.
So,
he was at LSU and then decommitted and flipped to Michigan.
So that would be why maybe he would consider staying. The name that I think will be interesting to watch, Dillingham over at Arizona State.
Kenny Dillingham is the other one. Is another one. Yes,
he's somebody to watch.
They're also losing guys in the portal too.
Their quarterback Sam Levitt is leaving. He's complained publicly about his facilities there at Arizona State, so maybe that's a name. Jesse Minter's complicated because we were talking before the show, he's got a show cause from the investigation in Michigan already, and he's the current DC with the Chargers, and a lot of people are speculating that Jesse Minter is going to be an NFL head coach here very soon.
If you were to pick an NFL guy, he's the name that obviously makes the most sense because he was just recently there with Harbaugh and all those other things. I will say, this isn't going to happen, I don't think, but desperate times sometimes cause for desperate measures. And I think Michigan will be willing to pay the buyout for almost anybody at this point, and not only that, but also make them the highest paid head coach in college football. I think that's where things might be with Michigan, where they don't want to go back to the years where they were going 4-8 and 5-7 and missing bowl games post.
Nobody wants
Denard
to.
Robinson's career. I think that's where Michigan's at, where they're willing to. They got the donors and they got the money. I think in the alumni base to cover a buyout and also make them the highest paid coach in college football. I'm not saying they're going to poach anybody away necessarily, but
ESPN this morning was talking about Eli Drinkwitz.
I was going to say I didn't want to.
He just signed.
I understand that, but hang on. For all the stuff that we talk about with jobs and everything like that, I do think to this point, Cody, Michigan is the same type of job as an LSU is or as a Florida is. It's better than Florida, in my opinion, right now, obviously, given the standing of them. But if you were to say, if you're Michigan and Drinkwitz gets a phone call from whoever the AD is there and says, hey, man, we're going to make you, we are confident in you enough to make you the highest paid coach in college football, or the second highest paid coach in college football. And we got resources, and you're in the Big Ten compared to the SEC, where, yes, it is a very good conference, but there's really only 4 or 5 teams in the Big Ten that are legitimately worth anything. There's only 3 Big Ten teams in the college football playoff this year. I think that there is an argument to be had that Eli Drinkwitz would take that job, and Michigan would do whatever it takes to find somebody like Drinkwitz, Dillingham, or Jed Fish. I think it fits. It makes sense.
Michigan is one of those jobs, though. It's one of those. Select few.
But it's kind of like Matt Campbell surprised me a little bit. But we do this a lot in college football where I got to bring up Kellen DeBoer. Why would he leave Alabama?
Well, I agree with you on that. He's not leaving Alabama.
And in a lot of ways, I just feel like Drinkwitz just signed this contract. He just got everything he needed. He's in the SEC. I don't think it's going to be him. I'd be stunned, honestly.
I told you the 2 names I think it's more likely to be. But I don't think we can say it's it would be the most it would not be the craziest thing in my opinion if that happened. I think it's way crazier if Kalen DeBoer leaves Alabama than Eli Drinkwitz left Missouri for Michigan.
Yes, but also I think it's not going to happen.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
It's just It's so small. It's like a 1% chance that they pick up the call, they
it's
try to
slim.
convince
In
Drinkowitz.
In terms of the odds or whatever, Eli Drinkwitz is not in the most consideration, I don't think, for people. But I mean, I even think Mike Elko at A&M is a guy that Michigan, because I think that's the thing about Michigan is that if you were to convince a coach to be like, yeah, I know I just signed, but it's Michigan, I think also Elko is kind of like Kurt Cignetti in a way where not only do you have the oil money, but you're in Texas and you also have the number 3 team in the country or whatever team in the country. Now they are 7 after they lost that game.
Michigan right now. Michigan's a better school, better program, all that stuff. He can win just as much at A&M right now. I wouldn't leave A&M this second. Would you if you were Elko? I don't know, man.
No, I wouldn't. But I think the both of you guys have talked about how much better a job is than other places where I've been a proponent of Lane Kiffin should have stayed at Ole Miss because he can win there. It makes sense that
A&M
Michigan
is unique because with the money that they have around that
yeah.
program, you can accomplish what you need to accomplish.
Yeah.
Is assuming he likes College Station. I don't know. There's some people that they're in a spot they just don't like the city that they are in.
He's going to enjoy the Upper Peninsula
I don't
instead?
know. I've never talked to Mike Elko in my life. I have my point is without knowing that, if it turns out actually his wife hates College Station, so maybe she likes Ann Arbor better. I have no idea.
There's another coach maybe on the really underneath things. I know we got to go to a break, but Manny Diaz at Duke. I mean, he's done a great job there. Maybe he's a guy that you also call if it gets down to that point. I think Michigan will be fine. It'll just be who do they get and what, and might actually reopen the entire coaching carousel all over again.
All right, up next, Dayton Hughes going to join us, former Chiefs wide receiver. Want to ask him about what he observed on Sunday. Look ahead to a division rival, the Chargers, and what they're bringing to Arrowhead.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you, too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable scent boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
Gates Barbecue's distinctive flavors will make your holiday meals unforgettable. Spice up your holiday table with Gates sauces and seasonings. Prepare your meats, potatoes, and vegetables with Gates seasonings, and top it off with one of the 5 Gates sauces. While watching a game or your favorite holiday movie, sprinkle Gates original seasoning on a bowl of hot buttered popcorn. So good. You can buy Gates at your neighborhood grocer or online at gatesbarbecue.com. Gates Barbecue, still doing it the old-fashioned way. Thanks, with love.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Somebody on the text line said, hot take, maybe Andy will be the next head coach of Michigan. I said, maybe if Kalani Sitake had taken the job he was rumored on, maybe then Andy, the old BYU connection.
Sure.
I'm just going to be very clear. Andy's a great coach. Andy would not work in college, and here's why. Andy is not going to sit in a room full of boosters and listen to them tell him what to do. Hell no. Andy would not put up with that stuff. He wouldn't take it.
No, I would agree with that.
No chance.
I would agree to that.
Be a terrible fit. NFL's where he needs to be.
Yeah, there's no question about that. We're going to be joined by Dane and Hughes in just a second. Looks like we're efforting, as we say. Dane and Hughes. We will get him on the phone momentarily to talk a little Chiefs football. Don't forget, coming up, it is a final week for Cody as Professor Tapp. So we will have our final lesson. We moved it up a little bit. It's going to be around 10:45 today. Professor Tapp, finals week.
So we get to a stitch line. Holidays around the corner. We don't want to miss out on that either. So, we will get to finals week.
Having phone issues. So we hopefully we'll get them connected. Our phones are not working presently.
Like at all?
That's what I'm told. So Drew is efforting that as well. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's talk a little bit more about Andy Reid being the next head coach of BYU. I'm kidding.
Perfect.
I'm obviously kidding. Later in the show, we're going to talk about Joe Burrow, who sounds like he's ready to quit. And
yes,
then
he does. Yes, he does.
We'll get you a little professor segment after we get done talking to Dane and Hughes here in just a minute as well. But I will say, we've asked for one big thing, and I don't know why lockouts we've just decided you have to strike or lock out in order to get anything actually accomplished. Because I feel like two things are happening with the NFL officiating announcements yesterday. One is the NFL is trying to prep you for a lockout with NFL officials. And I think you and I remember how that went the last time. It went so bad on one primetime game, they had to pay the officials whatever the hell they needed. It was so bad. But, Gold, guess what they're talking about as a possibility for a collective bargaining with the new officials this time. They might finally make them full-time officials, therefore maybe try to improve officiating. I think they finally realized that everybody sees what we see, which is it's not very good right now. It's not at an all-time low. I'm sure it's been worse. But officiating in the league is low right now. And getting them full-time feels like an easy first step in improving it, doesn't it?
Yeah, some of the changes that they are talking about making, which is basically going to be the word that I think everybody's going to like is increased accountability. That phrase, I think, is something that most NFL fans have been asking for. Have some accountability and consequence if you are not good at your job, like any other job you have. If your performance dips and they go through your performance review, there are consequences to that. And I know they will say, well, we already have a grading system for officials, and these guys,
and you don't get to do
the Super Bowl. If your crew stunk all year, you don't get to do the Super Bowl or whatever. That exists, but like some true performance-based evaluation, and there's consequences to that. There was also talk, as you said, of course, trying to get more officials to have a shorter offseason, because right now it sounds like they get the break from February all the way until May, kind of like the player. They're trying to shrink that and have them have more training, which is what we see. Some of these officials, a lot of them, are lawyers, CPAs, which is fine, but they do this and then 90% of the time they're not focused on their job. They're only doing that on Sundays. That's a problem.
But as a union, the refs are not going to want this. The league wants compensation that only high-performing game officials would get a share in their year-end bonus pool. So if you were a bad official, a good chunk of the year, Gold, you would not have the ability to get your year-end bonus for doing a bad job. And while I understand that that's how most jobs work, Gold, you and I don't finish number one, we don't get a bonus. They already have that. And in a collectively bargained union agreement, it is pretty rare to convince them to give up something they already get. I already get the bonus, whether I do a bad job or a good job. And you're going to convince them to do it? I think it's going to be another lockout or strike or whatever on this.
I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to hear talk in the offseason. I don't think they're going to go into next season with replacement refs now.
You don't think so?
No, because as you know, what happened in 2012, and they will never do that. They will never let it get to that point again.
It's pretty bad.
I believe we got the phones working. Let's go out to the phones and welcome in Dane and Hughes, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue, and brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Dane, and I believe we got you, my man. Thanks so much for calling in.
So we go 6-7, 6-7, and now the phones don't work. What the heck is going on here?
I know it's
everything is crumbling,
all falling apart, man. Just right before us,
heads are falling off, Dane, and I don't know what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, great movie.
Now, you were in the locker room on Sunday. You've been in locker rooms with the ultimate highs, and I'm sure the ultimate lows as well throughout your, whether it's playing days or just covering the league. Where did that locker room kind of stack up for you in the emotions that existed there?
Yeah, I think I said last week that Thanksgiving seemed to be the locker room that I saw as the most dejected kind of vibe all across the landscape, offense, defense, special teams. I still stick to that because I think these guys, like, it's just a shock. I think it's an example of what we're probably hearing from a lot of fans around the Chiefs Kingdom, is that you sit there and you're waiting for, like, the light to turn on. You're waiting for things to click. You're waiting for, because you've been down this road before and you've come out on the other end. And when you win so many close games and now it's on the other side, it's like how do we fix this? Like, how come this is happening? What in the world is going on? So I feel like there's a lot of shock. The vibe is just off, and you don't know, as a player, you don't know how to fix it. You feel like you've given it your all, but it's not being handled, or it's not coming out the way you'd like. So I feel for them from a player's perspective, because I've been in that locker room and I've lost tough games. And then from a broadcasting standpoint, when you're standing in front of these guys and you got a microphone and a recorder and you're trying to do post-game interviews, even my interviews with Andy Reid, we'll hear my interviews tonight on Players Only, by the way, but like even those, like you're trying to pull out words, and you can tell by the tone of their voice that, like, not only do they not want to speak, but they're being professional and doing that part of their job. But they, like, even in their words, they're searching for answers. So it's definitely, we've embarked upon uncharted territory, obviously, but it's just a confusing time for a lot of people because there are a lot of teams that are playing worse football than us.
Dane, and it feels like go ahead.
some teams that are playing worse football than us that actually have better records than us. So that's what makes it also a weird dynamic.
It's like, so, Dana, we use it as a phrase more in baseball, but you know what it genuinely feels like with this team? It's how I describe June pressing. Oh, you're 0 for your last 27, and instead of just like, I don't know, sticking with your normal swing path, you're trying to keep hitting the ball out of the yard. That's what it felt like when Andy made that call on 4th down. Some of the throws Mahomes has made this year, some of the catches that just go off their hands. It feels like the team is pressing in those big moments.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just that you can dial into those 2, 3, or 5 plays within a game and say, had we converted on this, had we stopped them on this, had we made this field goal, all this would, like, we would be void of all of these questions. And they've done it in the past. And it kind of makes you wonder, and this is definitely something maybe for your text line, it'll be for my text line later, like, would we feel better if we were getting blown out in a few of these games? And then, like, if we were still 6-7, but we had a mixture of close losses and blowouts, would we feel a little bit better that in just saying that this is just an off year? Like, to still have the hope of just less than 10% playoff hopes, still being here, but not feeling good about where the team is because they basically have put us in a position to not really feel good about any specific aspect, and they probably don't feel good about it themselves. Like, it's just weird all around, and I get the reference and the parallel to baseball, but, like, I've never been a part of a locker room that has had so much success in the same exact way they're now experiencing the failure. Like, that's a dynamic that I think is new, not just to us, but it's probably new to a lot of professional sports teams, where you win 17-0 over the 2 previous years in the same way now that you lost six of your 7. Like, to have that be a factor is just a weird dynamic, and it kind of leads you to want to just say, you know what, let's just chalk it up and live for 2026, but yet we're still in the fight. We still have an opportunity. And if we can win these 4 games, I know I just sounded all doom and gloom for the last 5 minutes, but if we can win these 4 games, does any team want to face a 4-game winning streak Chiefs team?
No.
And I would say they probably wouldn't.
We're talking to Dane and Hughes here on 96.5 The Fan, and I hear you about the close margins this year and some of the big moments, obviously, where they have not made the plays. But if you look into the offseason, do you believe this coaching staff, which has had as much success as any coaching staff together has ever had, really, in the National Football League, do you believe if they miss the playoffs that they are, really willing to look internally, though, as a staff, as an organization, and recognize that it is more, or maybe you don't think it is either, Dane, but like it is more than just a play here or there. I guess my question, are they going to still say, you know what, we just had some bad luck this year, we don't really need to change all that much? That scares me if that's their thought process.
Yeah, I don't think that would be the case. To be quite honest, I was somewhat surprised that everything stayed intact and that we got even the players back that wanted to re-sign either prior to last season or prior to this season to stay intact. But it's hard, man, when you think about how tough it is to win playoff games, to get to the Super Bowl, to go to 3 straight Super Bowls. Like, it's tough to say, you know what, I'm going to go see what's on the other side of the fence. Because we also have a body of work, or we have a history and resume of other coaches from other organizations that have gone and tried that and failed and wish they would have stayed where they were or had an opportunity to go back to where they were. Think of Josh McDaniels up at the Patriots. Like, there's a litany of guys that you can say, you know what, I tested the waters, even as players. Heck, there's Chiefs ambassadors that have been long removed from the Chiefs organization that, regret the day that they tested free agency and left. And now they're back and connected with the organization because they realized how special it was. So I think it's a normal part of the game. I will say this, I would not be surprised to see an exodus of either guys or coaches, just because you've had the success, you went to 3 straight Super Bowls, you lost, you felt like you wanted a redemption opportunity, and that may not come to fruition. And you may look to see, okay, where else can I go while I still have a hot name, while I still have shown the ability to coach at an elite level or play at an elite level, where can I go next? So I would not be surprised to see maybe not a mass exodus, but definitely some guys that'll be testing the waters and moving on.
What did you make of, or what do you make for the rest of the season, what they're going to have to do on the offensive line? Maybe Jawan Taylor comes back at some point. We'll see. But right now it's Esapole and Jalen Moore. And, maybe Trey Smith, he at least practiced yesterday, so maybe it won't be Mike Caliendo at right guard. Like the 4-game winning streak, let's just say that's on the table. Can they do it with this offensive line? Did you see enough out of Esapole to think that he could be a starting left tackle the rest of the way if needed?
I saw enough to say continue to throw him in there. Now, will that equate to 4 wins? All we can do is hope. And there is a component of Esapole is just like a lot of players, and I said this with Dusty and Fesco earlier this week. It's like that pitcher that got called up from AAA that crazily winds up going 7 innings of no-hit ball in his first start. It's like nobody has a scouting report. Nobody knows about his stuff. He's able to pitch elite. And then when they figure him out, you want to see, okay, now after 3, 4, 5 starts, what do we have? So if Esapole is going to be a guy that they're going to consider to replace Jawan Taylor, if they're going to consider to be in the mix as a tackle for the Chiefs in the future, might as well throw him out there. He did not show anything against the Texans that gives me pause about throwing him back out there. There was not anything that I would say, you know what, he's in over his skis. The game is too fast for him. His head was spinning or anything like that. So I'd say throw him back in there. I mean, I was that guy. I had opportunities to start a few games in my career, but I was relegated to a number 4, number 5 receiver for most of my time. And then I had those opportunities thrown at me, and I tried to make the best of them. And I don't think anybody had any regrets when they were given to me. So I feel like maybe I'm a little biased to those guys, to the Jalen Moores and the Esapoles. Like, give them a chance, and let's see what they can do. We already know what the other guys can do. Let's see what the young guys can.
I know you got to run. One final question, though, Dane. And the Chargers come to town on Sunday. This is a Chargers team that is really, really banged up, still is. That's been the case for much of this season. We saw what they were able to do, though, in overtime and get a win against Philadelphia. What are you seeing from their offense right now in particular, and what the Chiefs are going to have to do?
What I'm seeing is Justin Herbert kind of living up to what people have thought about him. He's kind of been hot and cold. You always find like he's 6'6" and he's got a howitzer of an arm, and he's been that kind of guy that you've always waited for to see if he can kind of make that step, make that jump. And now playing with basically a broken left hand, toughing it out, running the ball exceptionally well. He ran it well and really saved them with his legs last week in that game. And then also, we all remember the opener against us, him using his legs to secure that win. So that toughness on display, but they have some similar injuries on their offensive line like we have, and they can be susceptible. We just got to figure out a way to keep him contained and not allow him to beat us. They have some weapons. They have their running back as well, a nice 1-2 punch with he and Vidal. So, and they got something to prove. Like, they want to, just like I said last week, they want to be the team that puts the final nail in the coffin of the Chiefs. Like, I feel like what we're going to see in these last 4 games are teams, especially 2 of them, between the Broncos on Christmas night and this game coming up. Like, they have extra incentive to be the team within our division that put the nail in the 2025 version of the Kansas City Chiefs. And we have to take that into consideration and realize there's still fight. Like, you're saying there's a chance, like Dumb and Dumber. There is a chance. It's a small chance, but these guys got to step up and not give up.
Dane and Players Only tonight, 6 o'clock, right here on 96.5 The Fan. And then, of course, broadcast for the Chiefs Radio Network Sunday at a rare noon kickoff out at Arrowhead. Appreciate it.
No problem, fellas.
There you go. Danian Hughes joining us here on Cody and Gold, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue. And brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
It's going to be chilly out there on Sunday, isn't it? I think it's supposed to be cold this weekend.
Colder than this past week? I thought.
Pretty
Really?
comparable.
Okay.
I think today's supposed to be pretty nice in Kansas City.
Okay.
Like in the low 50s.
I guess, yeah, Sunday high at 22 for the high. Yeah.
Ugh, yeah, that's cold. Those tickets, what can you get in? What can you get in right now at Arrowhead? I know that this stinks and the season's not fun, but I understand how much a sporting event costs, especially going to an NFL football game for a team that's won as much as the Chiefs. It just doesn't get way cheaper than right
on
now.
SeatGeek with fees, just to get in the building, $46. For just to get in the door, $46. Upstairs, row 39, section 305.
What can you get for lower level? Can you get it for under 100?
No, but 104 in one area. There's two listed for $87 actually.
So for $87, you could sit lower
Downstairs
level
end zone
at Arrowhead for a divisional game. We'll talk more about the division coming up here in just a minute, but yeah, that's not nothing. Final lesson of the year?
Yeah, Professor Tapp. It's finals week.
Welcome to the classroom. Whether it's cooking lessons, singing lessons, or how to commit a heist, this guy wants to teach you what he knows. Well, what he thinks he knows. It's not Cody to you. It's Professor Tapp.
All right, one final lesson for the year, or at least the semester. I don't teach again until later January, so we can take a brief break from lessons. Oh, man, the emails kept coming last night. 11 p.m., 1 a.m., 2:30 a.m. The desperation of the semester kicking in.
They're desperate.
For a number of students.
They want to get you to bump the grade up a little bit.
Trying to bump the grade up, trying to turn stuff in late, trying to do all that stuff. We'll make today's easy. Today's lesson, because it's the end of the year, is on the things that happen at the end of the year. So the two of you, I have a little quiz for you. One of you will pass this class. The other one will fail.
Oh.
Whoever answers more questions at the end of the year quiz will get to pass the class. The other one, better luck next semester, you know? I haven't handed out an F in my real classes yet.
Well, it's the first time for everything, huh?
Yeah, could happen this semester. Who's to say? All right, so there's a couple of things. Some of them are easier, but these are about trends that took place in 2025. And there's some where there's multiple choices available to you where you can take turns answering questions and receive a point. So, first off, number one, what was the thing that happened with TikTok in the early part of 2025? It was a major news story. Just ring in whenever you're ready. That you don't remember? It was a major story.
What happened with TikTok?
Yep.
Oh, I mean, they were trying to ban it and kick it off the App Store
It was
and
banned.
everything.
That's right.
Okay.
Gold gets a point. Drew,
Oh,
do
okay.
not
I
remember.
thought there was more detail than that.
It was one of the biggest news stories of the year. All right, I'll make this one easier. We all watched the Super Bowl and are familiar with Kendrick Lamar doing the halftime Super Bowl show. First person who can name two people who appeared with Kendrick Lamar for that performance will receive a point.
Serena Williams and SZA.
Man, he was quick.
That was quick.
He was quick. Nothing you could do about that. Maybe you were going to say
I was
going to
say, I was only going to say Serena. I didn't know who else. I knew Serena was
and
part
Samuel
of that.
L. Jackson, remember? He was a big part of the performance. He was kind of the MC
All right.
of it. We talked about this earlier in the year. Alex is like sitting forward. He wants to make sure he gets these questions right. We talked about this earlier. Which wrestler in WWE had their farewell tour this year? It's a pretty major story in WWE. They had a two-night
I think
SummerSlam.
I've got one. I don't know. I don't watch wrestling
Drew?
at all. Is it John Cena?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't watch.
It is
You
John
can't
Cena.
You can't see him.
John Cena. All right, so Drew's got a couple points. Gold's got one. What was the number one box office movie this year? Made the most in the movie theater?
Oh, boy.
I'll give you one hint for it. It is more designed for the youth than adult crowd, although I think it plays both.
Can we get one
Drew,
more
do you have
hint?
any
Can we
idea?
get one more hint?
It had
Was
a very popular meme phrase that came out of the movie.
Oh,
One of the most popular.
I'm gonna guess Deadpool and Wolverine.
Not correct.
I have no idea.
The answer is Minecraft.
Oh,
I'm assuming
okay.
you guys have
I
heard.
wasn't gonna
Hold
guess
up for
that.
a
I was
bonus
gonna-
point.
yeah.
What was the meme that came out of it?
I
What was the meme phrase?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Chicken jockey? You
I've
familiar
never,
with that?
I've never heard of
Wow.
Lost me.
Wow, that one was tough. All right.
I feel very old.
All right, this is a layup. Layup. We only got 3 questions left, and then we'll get out of here for class today. We'll make a nice short class. What was the number one streamed movie of the year?
Why are you looking at me like this should be obvious?
I was trying to make this so easy.
Streamed movie?
We talked about this movie in a previous class.
K-pop Demon Hunters?
Correct. Come on. Come on. Can you?
I
for a
thought that
bonus
was.
point?
I thought those were the songs.
Can
That
either
was
of you,
ultimate
for a
clue.
bonus point, name a song in that movie that's not Golden?
Golden's all I got.
Takeover. Wasn't there one?
Golden's
Takeover.
all I
Oh,
got.
you're so close. Take down. Take down, Drew. Take down, I'm afraid.
Failing the final. We're failing the
Is
final.
what we were looking for. Last one, you can get a point for each one, so you can still close the gap.
Oh, boy.
I looked up the 5 most popular meme or internet slang formats from this year. Can you name any of the 5? Gold, I'll give you a chance to go first to catch up.
Does 6, 7 count?
Number 1.
Okay.
For the bullet, Drew.
God dang, does that count? Does that count?
It was not on the list.
No? Okay.
Chopped. You got
Chopped was not on the list. It was in the top 10, though, so there's not the worst. Gold, do you have any others? These are tough. We actually mentioned one of these in our
Riz?
slang ones. Riz was also not on there.
Riz
I'm
was like a
afraid-
year earlier, I thought.
For time, we'll save it. The Italian brain rot memes were very popular. You're not familiar with those, I'm assuming?
No.
Delulu, which we did cover.
The Delulu.
Holy Airball was high on the list this year.
Really?
Chicken Jockey, and then NPCs, as in,
Oh, okay.
and you're talking about you're a non-playable character. Those are the big ones. Someone says this lesson is worse than Binks?
Oh, this is a recap of the year, essentially, though.
Yes, it was a final. It was a final.
It was the recap
Oh,
of the
I failed.
semester.
I failed.
You failed.
Thank you.
I think we both technically did.
It was past.
Drew got like a C- or a D+. I got an F. Is basically what just happened.
I couldn't believe it took you so long to say K-pop Demon Hunters. Streamed movie? I thought we were
I
all
was
just
thinking
agreeing.
the song. I didn't. I forgot that it was a movie.
The main clue was the one that you said we talked about. I was like, oh, okay, it's got to be that one.
The number 1 streamed artist, do you remember that one? We talked about that on the show, too.
Oh, jeez.
It's the Super Bowl halftime show this next year.
Bad
was
Bunny,
the number
Bad
1
Bunny.
streamed artist, yeah.
What's good is everybody likes that show and nobody has any issue with
Oh,
it. So
everybody's thrilled that it's
I'm
Bad
glad
Bunny,
everybody's
yes.
thrilled. Nobody has any issues with that. There's no alternative halftime shows happening.
Nope.
Nothing like that. I'm glad we all can finally agree on something. Up next, let's get to the 11 o'clock hour and talk about the Chargers and Broncos and what it says about the future of the AFC West.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
There are 2 kinds of guys out there. The hard-working, earn the victory guys, and the fake it till you make it guys. You know, the ones who build display cases for their participation trophies. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and when those pretenders are out shopping for jewelry, they're probably shopping for lab diamonds, and that's sad because they've been sold a bill of goods, and no matter what anyone says, just like any pretender, you really can tell the difference between a lab diamond and a real natural diamond. So when she takes that lab diamond in for an appraisal and learns that you just gave her a participation trophy, well, that just might be the end of her participation. Seriously, we appraise jewelry from other stores all the time, and I've seen a lot of anger and a lot of tears. Guys, this Christmas season, I'm here for you. Earn the victory. If the love is real, she deserves a diamond that's real from a guy that's real. Come see me at House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, good news. FanDuel Sportsbook is live in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that's tough to beat. Right now, new customers in Missouri can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether it's football, basketball, hockey, or more, you can bet it all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So download FanDuel today and head to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement. Remember, new Missouri customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. Because Missouri, it's time to play your game of FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers,
If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods. Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Every now and then I rinse it out, and I need Downy rinse tonight, and I need it more. My kid was the bed and the smell never leaves. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark. The sweat and dead short smells like a dog car. I'm Downy rinsing tonight.
Downy Rinse fights stubborn odors in just one wash. When impossible odors get stuck in,
Rinse it out.
Men, if the long lines to the bathroom have been holding you back from attending sporting events and you're waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. Jeff Montgomery here to talk about the minimally invasive procedure I had that made a big difference. I went to Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. The procedure was quick and easy, and I'm very happy with the result. Don't put up with being uncomfortable. Contact Miva Medical. That's MIVA-medical.com.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Google of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Hey, it's George Karloftis. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock after.
You might hear this in February.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just. The text line's gonna blow up
puts me
now.
in a good mood, honestly. It kind of makes you want to move around a little bit, you know?
People are requesting alternative bump music.
What do they want instead?
They want an alternative bump. That's what they want. We'll get
What's
to
the last concert you went to? Have you gone to one this year?
No, the Kane Brown would have been last year, right? Was Kane Brown 25 or 24? I can't remember if Kane Brown would have been this year or not. I don't know. The only show I went to at T-Mobile this year was, oh my God, I went to two.
You went to a comedy
I went to
show.
Sebastian Maniscalco and, oh my goodness.
You guys technically went to the Super Bowl show, the whatever concert that was in Vegas.
Not this
That
year.
was last year.
That was 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, the comedian that was just
That's
here.
right. I'm sorry.
Not Bert Kreischer. He's in town this weekend. This is going to drive me crazy. He was just, oh my gosh, he did the SNL skit, the funny one about like the coming over from England.
Sorry.
Bargatze.
Nate Bargatze.
Bargatze. Thank you. That was going to drive me crazy all the rest
got
of the
there.
show.
That is a great
I had to stumble my way to get to the name, but we got there. Anyway, to answer your question, those are the last two shows, but not concerts. No, Kane Brown's the last concert I went to.
Weirdly enough, you know what Bad Bunny makes me think of? Do you guys remember that Chappelle show skit with Jonathan Mayer when John Mayer was like acting how white people act to electric guitar, and then he goes to the barbershop and he plays drums, and then he adds in, like, it's so good. Do you guys know what skit I'm talking about? It's so good.
I don't watch SNL, but I know the
Not
same.
SNL, that's just a Chappelle show skit.
But I know I haven't seen that one, but I know the concept of what you're talking about. Yes.
I'm going to send it to you, Drew, so you can see it later.
I'll be curious if, thinking of the Super Bowl and stuff, because somebody was texting and saying they're going to be out of the country during the Super Bowl. Do you think there will be, it's going to be the first time in a bit where most likely, barring the most unbelievable run ever, that we'll be watching a Super Bowl where, like, not going to have really any rooting interest. You're going to watch it the way we all watched it growing up for most of our lives.
Yeah.
And so it'll be weird to go back to that because the Super Bowl was always just more about the event at home, right? You'd have your party and all that, and you were watching pretty stress-free and everything. Over the last 7 years, for the most part, they've been a completely different Sunday certainly for you and I, but I mean, everybody in Kansas City. And so I'm already just thinking, like, this Super Bowl is going to be very weird.
Yeah. Yes. It'll feel weird just because it feels too long since they weren't either in the game before, and as you know, every year lately, they've just been in the game. So
3 years in a row.
It just throws off the entire scent, which goes back to the division a little bit and what's happening on Sunday. So they got the Chargers on Sunday. Danon said he thinks that they want to put the death nail in the coffin for the Chiefs and finish this thing. And they started it, in fairness. Beat the Chiefs' first game of the season. Things pretty much didn't go well at any point after that. I think that what I was starting to look at is, like, with the Chargers and the Broncos, how much further ahead I think they are in the Chiefs. Look, we don't have to predict whether or not they'll win the AFC West next year or not. But as these teams sit, I got to say, until Bo Nix is paid, they have got at least a half step ahead of the Chiefs roster-wise. The Chargers don't feel any further ahead to me. They got offensive line problems. They're still not sure about their wide receiver weapons. Defense is still good. Harbaugh's kept that up a little bit, but they got aging guys there as well. I think the Chargers and the Chiefs are probably on similar footing next year going into the AFC West, with the Broncos still looking like the favorite because they haven't had to pay a quarterback yet.
A lot of it will be dependent on what either of these teams, if anything, they do in the postseason. You know, if you tell me the Broncos with Bo Nix get to an AFC title game or beyond that, a Super Bowl, then my feeling about Bo Nix heading into next year will be vastly different versus Broncos make the playoffs, guys, and they're an early exit. I'll say, all right, so they're still kind of what we thought. They're a team that doesn't have the right quarterback to actually push the issue. That'll be what I think some of the narrative will be. But if the Broncos were to somehow get to the Super Bowl this year, then they will be massive favorites to win the West at that point in time. It's too early for me to, without knowing what the Chiefs roster is going to look like, and did they make any coaching staff changes? Did they do any of that? What do they do in the draft? To definitively say, but like right this second, yeah, I don't like their chances in the West necessarily next season, but it's way too far out for anybody to definitively say that. I'm with you where the Chargers, the question is that with them is when their O-line is healthy, they have the right pieces at left tackle and right tackle.
Yeah,
I
agree.
So the Chargers offensive line should be really good next year.
You're right. That's fair. That's fair. Coming back from the injury, only that the Chargers are always injured, and it just feels like I feel like they're cursed. So if I can ignore that part for a little bit, you're right. Their offensive line, they did draft Amarian Hampton, who was hurt. He should be, we would think, a viable NFL back. What was surprising to me was Ladd McConkey took a step back, or Keenan Allen got in his way. Like, the weapons didn't look as good as I was anticipating for the Chargers.
But Quentin Johnston,
and the defense got worse.
Stepped up. Yeah, their defense got worse. Will the Chargers have the same defensive coordinator? Will he go away? There's questions all these teams are going to have. I think the real one to watch is the Broncos, though, because I don't know about you. I just think the postseason is probably going to change in a positive or negative way how I feel long-term sustainability with what Sean Payton and Bo Nix are doing. Because right now it's all about the defense, and that defense is young. It's not an aging defense. I mean, Pat Surtain II is not 30 by any means.
And they probably got a year or two of runway before they got to pay everybody.
Yeah, but Benito is a fairly young player in the NFL as well, and so that defense should be sustainable for a bit. Vance Joseph, I don't think is going to. Maybe I'm off. Maybe he'll get job interviews. I don't know if he's leaving for a head coaching gig. So that defense should still be that good. The question will be based on what does Bo Nix do in the postseason? If he wins a couple playoff games, well, then I think I will change my view of him. But if they're one and done, then I'll still say the same thing where they're vulnerable because of their quarterback.
Nick Benito is on, he just got a contract, but it's still below
He's
market
26.
value. And it's also below market value, in my opinion. You got a 4-year, $106 million deal. He'll only be an $8 million cap hit next year. 2027 is when they'll have to pay some people. Nick's number will be up. Benito's number will be up. Surtain, who is also underpaid, this is where I give their GM a lot of credit. They got below market deals done for Benito and Surtain. And whether those guys come back to the table and demand more money, we'll see. Their whole thing is, too, I still think they need more weapons. I still don't think they have enough diverse weapons in their offense. And yeah, you're right. Bo Nix is going to have to prove that he's a playoff performer before we care that they're getting AFC West wins, you know? But they've done, they're in a better spot than the Chiefs next year, probably.
And the Broncos, same thing with all these teams, too. They will all each have an opportunity to get better in the offseason through the draft. The Broncos have 7 draft picks. They have their original selections, plus they picked up a 4th rounder. So this is not like a Broncos team that they made trades to, like the Colts, where they lost their first-round picks. They will have a first-round pick. Now, it's going to be probably in the late 20s, the way it's trending for the Denver Broncos, though, for the first time in a bit. Same thing kind of going for the Chargers. We'll see how early their pick is. Probably a playoff team, so it's going to be probably at least 20, depending on how it plays out. And so they will, for the both those teams, I'm guessing, way out, this far out, I'm guessing they will look towards offense, the Broncos will, with their draft pick, but we'll see. It's so far out.
I would think so, just based on how good their defense is. And look, I had wondered, kind of like Pete Carroll, if the game had passed Sean Payton by. That's clearly not the case.
Is Pete Carroll still going to be coaching next year, by the way?
No. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. 50-50 chance.
They probably won't move on after 1 year, but I think the evidence is there that that's not going to bode well for you.
It's a fairly obvious reason to move on from him. You brought in Pete Carroll to do what Andy Reid did here, Sean Payton did there. You brought him in as a stabilizer. Yeah. Hey, let's not be a laughingstock. Let's be a stable, functional organization. We brought in a stable, functional quarterback and a stable, functional coach. We should now be a stable, functional organization. They stink. They're awful. They're the same bad as they were when they were hiring Tom Cables of the world. They're just like pulling people off the street. So like, if they're not going to stabilize things, well, then you might as well at least then go for the home run. You know, draft a quarterback, find a coach who will deal with that quarterback, and hope that the quarterback coach for the Los Angeles Rams wants to be your head coach.
Because otherwise, though,
Mike LaFleur wants to be your head coach, and you see if you can do that.
Otherwise, you're in the spot. Yeah, you were alluding to there. You look at the Mendoza or Dante Moore potentially pick for the Raiders. Let's say they draft one of those two guys. And then what, you're going to go with Pete Carroll for 1 year after that? Because he's not coaching. I don't care how much success he has. He's not coaching.
All these other teams have been doing.
He's not coaching for 5 more years either way, whether they're having success or not. So then you're going to have the rookie. It'll be a second-year quarterback at that point in time with a brand-new head coach. It's it's a really tough spot to be in. The text line is correct. This is the part that is always fascinating. And schedules on paper end up being tougher, sometimes easier. But, yeah, the Broncos are going to have a first-place schedule next year. The Chiefs are going to have a third-place schedule, it looks like, next year. But if you were wondering, unfortunately, they do get, no matter what, the entire AFC East next year.
Broncos too, obviously.
And yes, same with the Broncos, and they get the entire NFC West. And then, yes, the Chiefs will get the third-place team in the AFC North, so that is going to be Cincinnati on the road next year. They'll get the third-place team in the AFC South, which right now is the Colts. I don't know if that's home or away.
Weirdly
but
enough, you'd almost rather have the first-place team in the AFC North next year, especially if it's the Steelers.
Oh, if it's the Steelers,
part of the schedules actually might benefit the Broncos versus the Chiefs.
In that division. In that
division, I'd rather take the Steelers on than the Bengals next year.
Is that game going to be here?
Which one? Cincinnati's on the road. Yeah, sorry, Drew.
Cincy.
That would have been Drew's second time at Arrowhead. I think.
Yeah.
No, here the Chiefs will play at Buffalo next year, Obviously, the divisional opponents. Home to New England. We'll get Drake May here next year. You'll get the Jets with maybe their new rookie quarterback next year. Cardinals are at home next year. Niners are at home next year. You'll be at the third place you'll be home against the third place AFC South team. And then you'll be at the Rams, at the Dolphins, at the Seahawks, at the Bengals, at the third place NFC South team, which is the Falcons right now. Right?
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's not an easy schedule.
It all changes. Yeah, it's not going to be some layup.
Yeah, and does Stafford win the Super Bowl and then retire?
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden that Rams game doesn't seem so bad. All of a sudden, so it just.
Let's
really
go to
changes.
Miami. Let's do that. Let's go to Miami.
Right now, I'm
Let's
viewing
take the
Sunday
show trip
mostly
to
as
Miami.
do you still have fight? Does this team still have fight? Maybe more than anything else, but sure.
Show trip to Miami sounds
South Beach.
Miami.
Drew, you been to South Beach?
I have been.
You've lived in Florida, but
yes,
that's obviously a gigantic
I've been
state.
to Miami, but the most recent time was when I was younger. My brother lives about an hour or so north of Miami. We didn't go. We didn't make the trek down to South Beach last time I was down there. No, so I haven't been there.
Look,
in a
as long
while.
as it's not September, I don't want to go to Miami in September. It might be a little warm. We can go in like early October.
We were there in February. It was nice.
It was. It's yeah.
Oh, you guys need to soak in the September heat. Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
I prefer to this.
You get some melanin. Let me make sure I say that correctly.
That's right.
The melanin.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vitamin D.
Yeah, you can take that melatonin for the flight, Drew. Just save the melanin for
Drew,
the beach.
You'd mentioned whether or not Joe Burrow was going to come here to Kansas City, and we got to talk about your boy because he.
Oh yeah, could we do a Cincinnati road trip next year with Drew?
Let's go.
Yesterday.
They're sound. Would you rather explain it or?
Oh, no, we're gonna
play
say
it. We'll play it.
Mm.
But I'm getting ready to play it. I'm just letting you know before we even play him saying something. He sounds like the man in the middle of an existential crisis. And I don't think I'm the only one who hears it this way.
Yeah, you listen to this, and he sounds like he's really, really going through it, and hopefully, right people are talking to him right now.
No, it certainly doesn't change my desire to win. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for?
What was the changing point?
Changing point. I'm not sure there was a singular moment or of time. It's just reflection on a lot of things that I've done and been through in my career. I think I've been through more than most, and it's certainly not easy on the brain or the body. So just trying to have fun doing it again.
You seem like there's something on your mind, or maybe I'm reading too much into it, but you seem frustrated.
There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Football related, personally?
All the above.
So that was Joe Burrow. I mean, that's clearly.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah,
It's very nice to get some honesty. That was nice to be able to hear that.
He was very honest about his current state of mind, and obviously we know the physical side of things. This is a guy that has had some injuries, to say the least, throughout his career. We all know this year the turf toe thing. He's only played in 4 games, and in prior years he's missed some serious time. He's also had a Super Bowl season in 2022, but since then it's been injuries. It's been not a lot of team success, and it's hard not to listen to that. And if I were a Cincinnati fan, I would say, we better figure this you-know-what out,
or he's going to retire.
He's going to go Andrew Luck, and he's going to say, I got money, I want to keep my health, and I'm not having fun doing this anymore.
Yeah, I think that this technically, like with the injuries, given just his long history, going all the way back to Ohio State, I think no matter where he was at, if this were coming up, I think it would still be the same conversation. I do think because it is the Cincinnati Bengals and they have the track record of being cheap and just not having a lot of success, that also plays into the narrative of, boy, the Bengals are going to mess this up and everything like that.
Either he's going to retire or he's going to end up on a different team. He's going to demand out of Cincinnati because he's unhappy.
Yeah, but to me, it doesn't sound like he's not happy with just the franchise anymore, though. Like, to me, it sounds like
football as a whole, he's not having fun.
It sounds like he's
Cincinnati,
sounds like he's legitimately trying to find fun playing football
Yeah.
again. Where look, Andrew Luck, I'm sure that offensive line was awful in Indianapolis when he was playing. Terrible. People could have said the same thing. Well, he can just go to another team. For Andrew Luck, it was, I don't enjoy playing football anymore because this is not fun anymore. I think that's where the parallels to Andrew Luck, I think, you can't help but say it makes sense given how Andrew Luck, how his career kind of whittled down, how he felt at the end of his career, and how he just was like, I'm tired of doing this if this is what it's going to be on a regular basis.
Well, and think about I can't even imagine, you're an NFL player and the training that you would do when you're healthy is insane. And then I tell you that Joe Burrow spent a ton of time rehabbing, right? Constantly rehabbing various injuries here as of late. And you're not seeing the true success and benefit from it when you come back. It's not like he's rehabbing from an injury and they're going to Super Bowls and they're competing for championships and all that. If anything, he's come back to teams that are so flawed on top of it. And it's like, well, why am I doing this? I'm working my ass off to get healthy, and keep on rehabbing, and for what?
Well, and like you said, it's from the mental standpoint as well. Like, it's not just like injury related as well, but from like the mental toll of, man, like I'm built different than these other people because I don't know if anybody else would be able to go through the same things that I'm going through. But the fact that I have to keep going through it continuously, eventually it's going to wear on me, whether it's the torn MCL, ECL, and MCL, whether it's the freak wrist injury, whether it's the turf toe, that's the worst turf toe injury we've seen in recent memory. It feels like, it's a lot of things. And some of it obviously is related to the offensive line and how bad they've been. Other things are the wrist injury. Nothing related to the offensive line or who they drafted. It has nothing to do with personnel. It was he went back to throw, he didn't get hit, and his wrist just gave out, whatever tendon that is, just decided to tear, and it was a freak injury. And those are the ones I think that, not just because of the recovery process, but it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong, and my team's not either, but I'm still suffering. I think that's I'm talking about the wrist injury.
Yeah, the wrist, but this is not just about the wrist injury, though.
I understand that, but the wrist injury ended his season where the turf toe injury did not. I think the wrist injury is the one out of all of the injuries that's been the worst one for him. I think from a mental standpoint, because there were external factors that played no role at all whatsoever in that happening. He didn't do anything wrong. The team didn't do anything wrong. He went back to throw a pass just like every other person does, and the wrist gave out. And at that point, they were leading the division and everything else that came along with it, and the wrist just gave out on him. And I think those are the ones
that
where
was 2 years ago,
when it feels like you're cursed in a way, your body is just cursed. That was one, I think, where that sort of injury is happening to you that we never see, I think is one that can affect you from a mental standpoint of, is this just how this is going to be? And you have to kind of cope with that and obviously wrestle with that. And it sounds like, he's been...
Well,
he's been
they
they
better be talking with him and trying to do anything possible to help him out, physically, mentally, etc. Because otherwise, it feels like they're on the verge of potentially having themselves the same Andrew Luck situation in a year or so. I'm not saying he's retiring this offseason. That's not at all what I'm saying. But they're a year or two away of that being a real possibility. And it sounds like clearly there's some other stuff that none of us even know is going on as well.
Yeah,
it sounds like on the personal side. And that's the part none of us can judge. Mm-hmm. Who knows how serious that is. That could overtake any of this other stuff we're talking about as well. But that was pretty stunning to hear him talk like that yesterday.
He also likes, like you mentioned, the personal stuff. He is a private person who doesn't want his public life. Remember when just like his house got broken into and then he wasn't going to buy the Batmobile anymore, and people were talking about maybe he was dating this woman, and he's like, I don't want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. And like, that's another reason why you might want to quit football.
Yeah,
is that
100%.
I make $400 million and everybody knows what my name is. And if you're an NFL quarterback, you sometimes can disappear. Like, look at Jay Cutler. You see they take a bunch of pictures of Jay Cutler living his life. No, he just goes to his house, goes to the store. He gets to mostly live a private life from an online perspective. I think maybe somebody runs into him, fine, but like, he might want that.
Well, I think he talked about that even in the Netflix series where he talked about playing video game. He talked about playing FIFA with his buddies, and he's like, it's a moment where I can feel like a kid again. And I think that there's some of that where evidently he's going through the mental hurdles of being obviously who he is, being all the stuff on the football field too, but there's a level of, I want to be able to enjoy just what I do without having some attention brought to it. And I think I can understand it from the sense of, him explaining it. Obviously, I don't know what it's like to be his level of famous, nor do any of us. But there's a level of famous that not that it's not for everybody, but I understand the desire of just wanting to be treated like a regular person instead of somebody who makes the amount of money that you do.
He should
Alex can't go to the store, but everyone else is okay.
If I were Joe Burrow, I would be honestly reaching out to Andrew Luck and trying to talk to him about what was he going through at the time. And not that means he has to, do exactly what Luck did, but just I would see if, what was he going through at that given moment, and the similarities are very, very
I have a question.
obvious, I think.
Do you guys think this is coping? I think we're just talking. I think we're explaining the situation. Like there's not a level of coping.
What do you mean?
Multiple people have said, I'm coping. I'm not coping. If Joe Burrow, if Joe Burrow retires, it sucks, but you can't blame him. You can't blame him.
No, but you should be depressed if he retires.
I never get. I do
if
not.
I retire tomorrow, I'd be depressed.
I do not get depressed over my sports teams. I do not let it get to that point. And again, they lost the Super Bowl in heartbreaking fashion. And I literally watched a movie with my wife 5 minutes after that and I had a great evening. It doesn't affect me. But I think that
had a great evening?
I had a great evening. I had a great evening. I think that
the Chiefs got their ass kicked by the Bucs, Cody. I had a great rest of the day, a great evening.
But that's because people. I think again, and I think we all do it.
But you didn't say I was fun. You had a great evening, like it was one of the better evenings I've had after that loss.
It's delightful.
Yeah, no, I
had some ice cream in a movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. I wanted to eat. It was great.
The Chiefs lost to the Cowboys, and I had one of the best Thanksgiving nights after I've ever had.
Again, maybe that's just me not being as good of a fan, or maybe it's just part of the profession. But I don't let the teams that I root for, who I have no control over, affect the way that I live my life, because otherwise I already get way too stressed. I don't need that level of stress that everybody else gets. I will say there are Bengals fans who I'm sure would be legitimately depressed and call off of work if Joe Burrow announced his retirement.
Someone says Drew got that after Super Bowl loss sex. That's why it must have been a great evening. Confirmed?
I'm not going into details about it. I had a very good evening. I had a great evening after.
Super Bowl win sex, so much better than
the Bengals lost in the Super Bowl, and the Bengals lost the first Super Bowl I had ever seen in my lifetime, and I had an evening that made it just it seemed like a regular Sunday. I was fine.
I don't think I'm capable of that.
I was fine.
Good. I mean, more power to you if you can do that. I'm just telling you, when the Chiefs got their ass,
denial though.
I really
when the Chiefs got their ass kicked by the Bucs, I'll just tell you that the rest of the night sucked. I'll just tell you, I was not in a great mood. Hey, look, the fact that you can block that out, I wish I could do that. I definitely can. All right, Chiefs Red Half Hour. We're gonna sneak in a trash of the day as well. We haven't done it in 2 days, and I have a really good one I want to get to today. And then we'll start the Red Half Hour though, talking about the importance of this draft for Brett Veach.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This is Dana Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor, just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dana Hughes. D.G. Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet does not win. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day. Get into hockey, basketball, and pro football with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sign up today using bonus code DUSTY to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Minimum deposit of $10 to participate. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Great news, Nick. Legacy boxes are still in stock. With Christmas just around the corner, there's still time to buy the best Christmas gift ever. Legacy Box.
That's right, Adam. Order today and Legacy Box ships immediately. It'll arrive ready to wrap and place under the tree.
Gather the family together this Christmas and collect all your old VHS and camcorder tapes, slides, pictures, and film reels. Then you can binge on the good old days.
From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your memories aren't protected unless they're on a digital format. Legacy Box helps you replay those great moments from the past, from Christmas morning to your wedding day.
Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. All the work is done right here in the USA, and over 1 million customers have trusted Legacy Box.
This Christmas is the time to digitize. Visit legacybox.com/value for exclusive holiday savings. That's legacybox.com/value for last-minute shopping. legacybox.com/value.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Well, you know the phrase confidence is key, and you should have it in every aspect of your life because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. I'm talking about Blue Chew. It's a small chew for a big difference. It'll help you be more confident where it counts. You'll have flashbacks to your glory days, and date nights just got better and longer for everyone. Be ready when she is. It's not just about the performance. Give her group chat something to talk about because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Blue Chew, their licensed medical providers work with you to make sure you find the right ingredient for your prescription. And if you don't like swallowing pills, that's no problem because Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. You can discover your options at bluechew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Go to bluechew.com for details and safety info and get your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Sarah at the Department of Rejected Dreams. If you had a dream rejected, IKEA can make it possible.
I've always dreamed of a beautiful kitchen, but my wife just wants to stay organized.
You know what they say about opposites.
That they can't agree on a kitchen?
Well, IKEA kitchens come in many styles with a variety of customizable organizers. So maybe you're not opposites at all.
Beautiful and organized. Now we just have to figure out what to eat.
That's a different department. Get the kitchen of your dreams at a price you didn't dream possible at ikea.us/dreamkitchen. Dream the possibilities.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
So we will work in a trash of the day at the end of this segment. We haven't got to it 2 days in a row, so I want to make sure we get to it today. It's
a good one, huh?
It's a good one.
Okay.
I didn't know this trash of the day was possible, and I'm amazed by it. And so that's why I want to get to it.
Amazed.
I'm
this
amazed.
is quite a spell.
It's a good
I'm
tease.
amazed by the trash of the day today.
You have
That's
my
all.
attention.
Let's start, though, talking about Brett Veach and this offseason. I know, look, there's a lot of you listening. They're like, hey, I hate having to talk about the offseason. We're trying to balance both worlds, right? Recognizing we're going to talk about the Chargers game, but also the reality of how big this offseason is going to be. Look, every single draft is important. You're an NFL general manager. You get paid to make right decisions and be correct. You're in the business of getting it right. We all agree.
But when you're picking at this level,
when it looks like you're going to potentially have a top 15 pick, at worst, if you miss the playoffs, a top 18 pick, and we all recognize that with the salary cap, with guys that are not under contract next year, you could use a hell of a draft. And I said you said maybe it's the most. I think it's the second most important draft of the Brett Veach era.
Is the post-Tampa Bay one?
The post-Tampa one, I think if you consider at that point in time.
They went to the Super Bowl that year, though. They're 6-7.
But they have now since won an additional ring or two, on top of it. Mahomes is now in his 30s. Like I just view, but they're both extremely important. I just would put the Tampa one higher because at that point it wasn't a dynasty yet. At that point in time, now we're talking about dynasty A. Let's hope there's a B, but dynasty A we all kind of think is maybe over. So what's the pivot? Your draft has to be a hit where you find at least one of your future pillars to hopefully prolong or begin a new dynasty that in 5 years we're saying, hey, man, they got the core pieces. It's Mahomes. It's X player that we don't even know the name of yet. And it's another X, it's got to be those. Right now, the core for many, many years has been Chris Jones and Kelsey and Mahomes. And we've talked about how Trent McDuffie maybe is one of those pillars. And
I think he's on the team.
If they don't trade him, then he will be one of those pillars. If they give him an extension, he will be one of those pillars. Otherwise, and even if they keep him, they have to find who's that next pillar. And the only way you're going to find that is through the draft. And yes, it looks like Brett Veach is going to have the best opportunity in terms of where he's picking to find that pillar. It doesn't mean this is the best draft class that he's ever had to select from, but I'll tell you this, it's a hell of a lot easier to find a pillar at pick 15 than at pick 32.
But I'll forgive mistakes. Mistakes happen. So I'm not going to sit on this show and every time they whiff on Felix Anudike-Uzomah or some of these other players or McCole Hardman was still a viable NFL player who was a part of a Super Bowl championship. So I don't even think those misses compare, right? Or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He has misses. He has more misses in the first round than he has hits, is the truth. Unless Xavier Worthy and Joshua Simmons work out, in which case he's actually got more hits.
Sure.
Now, those are unknowns in some capacity. Josh Simmons needs to be on a field for an NFL season, for the entirety of an NFL season before we make any determinations. And I've told you many times before, year 3 is the swing year for me on determining where a draft pick is heading a lot of times. Year 3 for Xavier Worthy will determine what kind of
it's a massive year for him next year. Yep.
But the draft is, I think with pick 15, they got to find a pillar defensive lineman. They got to find Chris Jones' replacement. And I think they have to rework half their offense. So that's why I think it's the most important. They have to find a running back, more wide receivers, more depth at offensive line. I get it. You got the quarterback. So that makes reworking your offense
the hardest part is accomplished already.
But there are more holes to fill, in my opinion, than after that Tampa Bay Super Bowl. This is a more flawed team, and not just because of their record, but because of some of the misses in the draft leading up to this. Because when I was talking about Brett Veach's drafting history, his more recent struggles are now. Because the last 3 years has not bore a lot of fruit, is the problem. And I've told you I've gone through this before. I can find you whoever you think the best drafter is in the league.
People will say Howie Roseman, Cody. You know that.
Howie Roseman.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we can get no.
And he's been very, 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 very good.
He has been great. So even if I go through the Eagles draft by years, I can find a 2-year stretch in which, or a 3-year stretch in which it's not as good as you remember it being. Right? I can find that for you, but he has been more consistent. And when he picks high, he doesn't miss. And look, Brett Veach never picked high. So he gets a fresh start from it. But when they ended up number 9, they found Jalen Carter. When they ended up, number 10, they took Devonta Smith. Now, he also has picked 21 at Jalen Reagor. So, don't let me pretend like he just
complete bust.
Yeah, but he got Jalen Hurts in that same draft, so nobody cared.
Yep. And now they're talking about wanting to move on from Hurts. They're not, but there's a report from Jeremy Fowler we'll get to during all 32.
It's such a huge, honestly, in a weird way, this year's going to go a lot in determining what I think about Brett Veach's draft ability as a general manager. Because at this point, I would say his issue is not he can't find talent in the draft. He's actually been pretty good at that. he finds talent everywhere. 5th round, 6th rounders, 7th rounders. His problem, in my opinion, is you have to find some stars. Not all the time. And you've said before, and I think it's fair, it's hard to find those stars when you're picking 32, 64, like in the 90s. Like when you're picking dead last in every round every year, it's hard, Gold. Not that it can't be done, but it's harder. This year would not be that excuse. He'd be picking 15, 45, like every round would be an availability to find a high-level football player. And that's why this draft feels so important for Brett Veach and for the team and the regrowth and everything else, the rebuild, all that part.
Yeah, I mean, I just think when you look at the potential, and we're too far out to really be able to judge fully at the needs for Kansas City, where we're at with this draft class. I think we've talked looking ahead, like 2027 is actually, if you're looking for a wide receiver, is the better draft class, and they could sure use one. But I'm with you, where defensive line, you can make a case for other positions. Defensive line definitively is my top priority in the offseason. Maybe they could address it through free agency as well. Maybe it's both, quite honestly. I don't know, draft and free agency. But that's going to be the area that I think they have to address first. Doesn't mean that I don't agree with you that tight end is a position they have to find in an option moving forward. We already talked about Noah Gray earlier in the week. I don't believe he is your number one tight end for multiple years ahead. I don't see that, especially after what is happening here in 2025. Defensive line is the spot that can change everything if you were to nail that, because we have an incomplete grade, as you said, on Gelati and Omar Norman-Lott. I'm not closing the door on both of those guys yet by any means. So there's still a scenario. Now, you're asking for a lot of things to go right for you, but there's still a scenario you could be sitting here next October and feeling better about those two picks. Josh Simmons is able to stay on the field, and all of a sudden you're looking back at last year's draft class, you're saying, wow, they got a starter at left tackle, they got a starter at defensive tackle. Like there's a chance. It's not over. It's not over on that. Don't know anything about. So it's hard for me to look at last year's draft and say, it's this huge negative would not be accurate yet at this time. But certainly going back to 2024, Xavier Worthy, the third year is going to be massive for him. Kingsley's looking like he's going to be a very nice guard. That's not why you drafted him, but it looks like you're going to salvage it at least, and he's going to be a guard for multiple years.
Took him late in the second round. If he's a starting guard, you've done fine.
Other than that, Jared Wiley, Jaden Hicks, Norzad.
Whiff.
Yeah, Hicks is
not a whiff on Hicks, but might just be a rotational player.
And he was a late fourth round pick. But anyway, so I just think it's obvious this draft is so crucial for Kansas City. And I do, for people who are saying, like, how do you have faith? Because kind of what Cody broke down, which is when they pick 21 or higher, they've actually hit their picks. And they've only had that one time. It was Trent McDuffie. But when they traded up, they've had success when they trade up in the first round.
And I give him a lot of credit for being the person who banged the table and brought Patrick Mahomes in front of John Dorsey. So I don't think I don't think he has no eye for talent. It's just that he has not found the stars consistently enough. Or if they are stars, right? Like Creed Humphrey is largely considered the best center in all of the sport. He gets credit for that. He found the best center in all the NFL in Creed Humphrey in the second round. Hell of a deal, right? Centers go in the first round sometimes, Gold. It's an important, valuable position. But when we talk, and here's the problem. When you and I talk pillars, when we talk stars, you got to find number one wide receivers, number one defensive ends, like number one defensive tackles. There are positions, Gold, we're talking about. Let's just be honest. I don't care if you find the third best interior middle linebacker. Neat.
Yeah, no, I think we know. I think we know.
Now, corner, he might have found one of those guys. Trent McDuffie is considered one of the 5 to 7 best corners in the NFL.
In order to help you find, though, another pillar or two, though, this is where this whole offseason is going to be a major conversation about Trent McDuffie's future in Kansas City and whether or not are you better off packaging him for picks. And that it kind of sucks to have that conversation because we all agree he's a very, very, very talented football player. And by all accounts, first-class person as well. But is the trade going to help you long-term to fix some of the other issues versus just signing him to an extension, having a massive cap hit, and not having extra picks to throw at the dartboard in the first round? If you think you can get a first-round pick.
Depends on what the offer is,
You know?
Little NFL news, by the way, and then we'll get back to the Chiefs. TJ Watt is currently now in a local hospital, according to them, for further medical evaluation after his lung after experiencing discomfort at the practice facility in his lungs. He will not be at practice on Thursday. His status for Monday night's game versus Miami is in question.
Okay.
They said Coach Tomlin will provide updates at the appropriate time, but apparently
lung
experiencing
discomfort
in his lung and is now at a local hospital.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully he's
we'll
all right.
Keep an eye on that. Yeah, hopefully he's all right. Something to watch there. Getting tests done right now at the hospital. So
I do have a question about going back to the Chiefs. Let's say they do trade Trent McDuffie. Does that open up would you be okay with them taking a corner in the first round at that point, or is it still vehemently defensive line first round?
Well, I don't think let's say they had 2 first-round picks. I don't think both have to be defensive line.
And the first one doesn't have to be defensive lineman if they have 2.
I think
one
that
does.
If they were to trade McDuffie, remember Jalen Watson's contract is up. He's going to get more money than we all think. Like that's just the nature of the business. He's had a very nice year.
Top 10 rated Pro Football Focus corner this year.
So he's going to get a nice deal.
He's
I don't know
if the 15 best free agents.
I don't know if they were to trade McDuffie if it means they would just sign Jalen Watson to a deal.
Yeah,
otherwise, they would probably go free agency. And if they trade McDuffie, they would end up drafting a corner. Whether it's the first pick, I have no idea. But yeah, they would certainly have to address corner as well. But they have had a very good track record in that spot. Now, it's one thing to say they have a good track record in finding the Jalen Watsons, the Charvarius Ward. It's another to find yourself another Trent McDuffie type.
Well, the reason that I asked is just because it'll be fascinating to see. And obviously, again, it's December 11th. The draft is late April. So by the time we get to March even and we're past the combine, there might be some defensive linemen like, they didn't test too well. So all of a sudden, the first round defensive linemen go late first round. All the draft grades change where a corner is really good, and it's like, well,
isn't there another star safety in this draft, like a Kyle Hamilton-esque?
I mean, Caleb Downs is he might be pound for pound one of, if not the best player in the draft. But again, it's a safety. So are you going to draft a safety first overall? No, but.
Could you take one 14th overall if it's a position of need?
100%. I mean, if Caleb Downs is available at 14, by the way, the Chiefs should take him in a heartbeat and not think twice. But I don't know if he'll be there, but it'll be fascinating to see how because defensive line, I think, is the best grouping of players, which makes you think, you can get one there, but if you need a corner because you get rid of McDuffie, then corner might be the pick that you need to take at 13 or 14, and then we'll try to deal with your options.
Yeah, I don't have the exact dollar amount. Someone just texted a few times, says they don't have to go corner because they have Noah Williams and Jalen Watson. They'll have Noah Williams, but Jalen Watson's contract is up at the end of the season. So they would have to extend him, and then that same person said it's going to be easy signing.
He won't get like J.C. Horn money.
Yeah, he's not going to be the number one corner and highest paid salary. But his contract, we're going to wake up, and whether the Chiefs sign him or not, and it's going to be mid-March, and you're going to be like, holy crap, Jalen Watson got that.
Kind of like Turk Wharton.
That's going to be the type of contract where you're going to on paper you're going to say on the surface you're like, what? But he's a corner due for a new contract that's going to be coming off a really nice season. He's going to get paid. He's not going to be the 5th highest paid corner in football.
Spotrac currently estimates him at a 3-year, $48 million extension.
Yeah. And if the Chiefs move on from McDuffie, that's something that I think they would even explore a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's not chump change by any means.
I still think I've told you for last year and a half. I think Jalen Watson has been for some reason in Kansas City, people have acted like he's not good.
By the way, I know
it's really bizarre. Now he's had some injuries, right, that have kept him out. But
he's not a perfect player.
When he's been healthy, he's been a very solid. That's how a very solid cornerback, long-term corner in the NFL.
By the way, that's another feather in Brett Veach's cap. That's a 7th round pick that he's gotten 3.5 years or 3 years as a starter out of. Do you know how few teams get 3 years as a starter out of a 7th round pick, even if you don't re-sign him? That's a hell of a deal, at least on the
So you're saying that Brett Veach needs to hit. He needs to hit
He
on
can't.
at least 3 picks in this draft.
Specifically the first one, he can't miss.
He needs to find a star. He needs to find at least one star in the draft, and you can say that's a tall ask. Well, that hopefully you have multiple first-round picks, or you have a top 15 pick this year.
Or you have 3 top 70 or 80 picks, or whatever the hell they're going to have when it's all said and done.
Yeah, again, it goes back. Whenever we talk about contract numbers in the NFL, we have to remember the salary cap is going up every year. Like someone says, he's not a $50 million player. Talking about Jalen Watson, we can differ like what we would pay, what you would maybe not pay. He's going to get in that range in the open market.
Turk Wharton got $50 million this offseason. I mean, this should tell me Jalen Watson at corner?
Turk Wharton's going to finish with like 3 sacks this year in Carolina, and the contract that he signed in the offseason, we all looked at and said, "Wow, well, good for you, man." I'm not paying it. I mean, this happens in sports all the time. Heck, we're going to talk Royals baseball a little bit later on. Mike Yastrzemski, a player I would love to have had back in Kansas City as a bench player and a platoon player. Did you guys see what he got in Atlanta?
$23 million.
I'm not paying. I don't want to pay him that either. But you know what? That's the market rate. The Atlanta Braves were willing to pay it. The Royals were not. This happens all the time. Guys, we can look at numbers and say, there's no way that player's worth that. It doesn't mean that's not what the going rate is.
I'll just tell you right now, he's going to make $20 million a year. It'll be more like 3 for $60. L'Jarius Sneed makes $19 million. Carlton Davis makes $18 million. Charvarius Ward makes $18 million. The math is the math.
Yeah.
These are all 27, 28-year-old players who make that kind of money. I would just be surprised if he did not make that kind of cash.
Trash of the day.
All right, let's get to it. A little different spot today, but I want to make sure we get to this one. This is from Oddity Central, all right? Occasionally, they provide us some gems. It's a real story, I promise.
You sure?
I mean, I can't be 100% sure.
Sure.
But I am sure, yes. We go to Shandong, China. I knew you would enjoy that right away. Yep. Earlier this year, there's a female factory worker in Shandong, China.
Okay.
She was involved in a terrible work accident. Her hair got entangled in the heavy machinery, all right? It tore her ear off. Her left ear gets torn off. Okay?
You said this was a good one. This is horrifying.
She survived. She needed reconstructive surgery on other parts of her skin, her scalp, okay? Including the reattachment of the ear. The problem was the doctors did that the ear could not be immediately reattached to its original place because of the damage to the blood vessels. So they're like, this is not going to work. We could attach it and it'll like die off. Like there won't be any blood flow. So to maximize the chances of a successful reattachment, they had to foster it back to health. So what they did is they chose her foot. And there's a photo in this article. Okay? And you can tell me, you'll be like, Gold, this isn't real. There's an ear on her foot that is growing on her foot. Drew?
No.
Yeah, look. Come on, it's not that gross looking. It's just weird.
It's just an ear on a foot.
An ear on a foot. It's like Mr. Potato Head, and you put the ear in the nose spot. Okay, that's basically what happened. That's what happened. All right, and
they're just gonna cut the ear off and then
a team of
put it on her
surgeons.
head?
Exactly, they're growing it back to health, and then they're now gonna have usable blood vessels and nerves before connecting them to those in the ear. After 5 months, the woman's left ear is back on her left ear spot. How crazy is that?
Man, that's crazy.
Did you know you could do this? I know the human body. I know the human body is amazing and it can regrow all kinds of certain things. But what? Imagine if you were if you came in one day and you said, "Hey, they think they'll save my ear, but for 6 months, guys, one, I'm not going to have a left ear, okay, but also look at my foot." Look at his. Cody's talks about his super bone. Imagine if
I
his
just had
foot.
an ear on my foot?
Yeah. Now
we
here's
never stopped talking about it in the show. If I had an ear on my foot for 6 months.
Now look, it's not connected the same way. It's not like you could go talk to Cody's left ear and he's gonna shout in his ear and hear anything.
I don't think it works that way.
But do you think you would feel that ear though? Like if someone touched that ear?
It's connected to blood vessels.
Yeah.
I would think that there'd still be.
You thought your super bone was weird. Someone had an ear on their left foot.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be really weird. It would just be a weird feeling. Now, of course, people are born with, physical defects and things
but not
happen.
an ear on their foot. I don't know if that's ever happened. An ear on the foot?
Former producer Ryan Witkowski's got a toe thumb.
But not an ear.
No, but he does have a toe thumb. I'm just letting that be known.
He's talked about this before.
They had to put a toe on his thumb. He was missing one.
So would this person be able to go to the
They
beach
look
then?
totally different too.
Would they be able to go to the beach, and go
Sure,
underwater?
they can go to the beach. Yeah, but
I mean, like underwater and all.
Huge question I have is, how do you wear a shoe that's comfortable? Is it all open? Do you have to get a sandal that wraps around your ankle?
That's a good question.
Bigger shoe. Feels like, I don't feel like I'd want to shove an ear into a tennis shoe. That feels like it'd be pretty
Bigger shoe.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, bigger shoe.
You get some oversized ones for a little while?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Do you think that ear itched?
I don't know how that works. I don't know how I don't know the nerve endings work.
Is there still ear wax if it's down on your foot?
I do apologize to the people who are trying to eat lunch.
This is not that gross.
I know, but as soon as you
We've had way grosser ones.
Of all the stuff, my kids watch science shows and stuff a lot. I don't feel like I've ever seen a show say how does earwax form?
Huh.
So, I would have a lot of questions. It sounds like you'd be willing to sit with this person for an hour and just be like, "Can I ask
I'm
you 4 questions
fascinated
about
by
it?"
this. Yes. Yeah.
It says sweaty secretions from the glands in the outer ear canal mixed with dead skin cells, air, dirt, and water. So you'd think at least half of that would happen still in the foot.
Could you get an ear infection? I guess.
Does my ear still have?
Is that a lower ear infection at that point, or what? What is that?
It would have to be considered lower.
Yeah.
I would suppose.
I don't think I've ever had a
super bone.
Yeah. There you go, man. That's the trash of the day.
Almost had Crocs for life in that case. Have you ever even contemplated
Never had Crocs.
buying a pair of Crocs?
Never had Crocs.
Have you thought about it though?
Have I thought about it? Not really, no.
Yeah, me either.
I used to have a pair when I was really, really young. I don't care for, I don't wear Crocs now.
Is there you sounded like you were getting ready to say something more stern.
No, it's just, I don't think they're comfortable, but I don't.
You don't think they look very good?
Yeah, no,
you can just say
I don't think they look
I mean,
good.
if you might offend somebody who's listening to the show, but if you're like, you think they're ugly, say they're ugly.
Wife loves Crocs.
Oh, so
I've heard if people work in hospitals like nurses, Crocs are the best thing ever for them.
Yeah.
They're very comfortable. That's what I've heard. I don't know.
I don't work anywhere close to that kind of serious of a job, but yes.
Word on the street, Cody,
Well, you know what? If I ever have to work in restaurants again, I'll get some Crocs.
Crocs and on-clouds.
We all bought
for that,
Danskos and some other different types of shoes that were all like popular, like on your feet all the time shoes.
Oh my gosh, from the 417. It would be really weird. Weird.
Someone said it wouldn't be earwax, it'd become toe jam at that point in time. Yeah.
That's a good point. I think if it's on your foot, you got to call
That's
it something
true.
else.
All right, up next, we'll get
That's
to
in an ear.
We'll get to what's trending. The latest in Michigan with Sharon Moore being fired and all 32 here on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The world's largest sports book at your fingertips has arrived in Missouri. Circus Sports is sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service, Circus Sports is better for the better. From football to basketball, college sports to pro, start betting like the pros in Missouri. Built for sports bettors by sports bettors. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. For problem gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. If you're planning to propose this holiday, we're ready to make creating your engagement ring a warm, welcoming experience. At Shane Company, we're all about your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Explore the widest selection of diamonds and ring settings ready for you to see in person, or visit us at shaneco.com. You'll have your ring in days, not weeks. Our friendly jewelry consultants don't work on commission. There's never any pressure, just perfect proposals. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hi, we're the people who have everything.
There's nothing you can get us we don't have.
We have 7 mini vacuums.
And Pearl handled pickleball rackets.
See?
Need a gift for someone who has everything? The Kansas Lottery has you covered with holiday scratch tickets in $1, $2, $5, $10, and $20 options, with instant wins up to $100,000. You could win even more in second chance drawings.
Did he say thousands?
We could always use that.
See kslottery.com for details.
Prostate cancer. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but early detection can save lives. That's where KCUC comes in. They're the premier center for urology and oncology, with over 50 elite providers and more than 20 locations across the metro. KCUC makes it easy to get screened fast in the comfort of an office, not a hospital. Schedule your screening today at kcuc.com. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. kcuc.com. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
For moments worth more, celebrate this holiday season with Stella Artois. Stella Artois is teaming up with your local Hy-Vee and Johnny's to help make your holiday gatherings a little brighter. Whether you're hosting family, catching up with friends, or raising a toast to togetherness, let Stella elevate the moment. Visit your nearby Hy-Vee or Johnny's and enter at the Stella Artois displays for a chance to win a $100 gift card. For more details, go to 965thefan.com. Stella Artois. Enjoy responsibly.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel because FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot means that you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each and every week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores either the first or the last touchdown in the game, then you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to take a shot at the jackpot. Remember my promo code KFNZ for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit Pitocin on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com.
Guys, thanks for helping me carry my Christmas tree.
Zoe, this thing weighs a ton.
Drewski, lift with your legs, man.
Santa! Did you get my letter?
He's talking to you, Bridges.
I'm not.
Of course he did. Right, Santa?
You know, my elf Drewski here, he handles the nice list.
An elf? I'm 6'3". What everyone wants is iPhone 17. And at T-Mobile, you can get it on them. That center stage front camera is amazing for group selfies. Right, Mrs. Claus?
I'm Mrs. Claus's much younger sister. And at T-Mobile, there's no trade-in needed when you switch. So you can keep your old phone.
Or give it as a gift.
And the best part, you can make the switch to T-Mobile from your phone in just 15 minutes.
Guys, my side of the tree is slipping.
Timber!
The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Switch in just 15 minutes and get iPhone 17 on us with no trade-in needed.
With 24 monthly bill credits for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Finance agreement 256 gigs, $830. Eligible port in a new line. $100 plus a month plan with autopay plus taxes and fees required. Check out in 15 minutes or less per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Sarah at the Department of Rejected Dreams. If you had a dream rejected, IKEA can make it possible.
I've always dreamed of a beautiful kitchen, but my wife just wants to stay organized.
You know what they say about opposites.
That they can't agree on a kitchen?
Well, IKEA kitchens come in many styles with a variety of customizable organizers. So maybe you're not opposites at all.
Beautiful and organized. Now we just have to figure out what to eat.
That's a different department. Get the kitchen of your dreams at a price you didn't dream possible at IKEA.US/dreamkitchen. Dream the possibilities.
Listen to the Chiefs and Chargers on Sunday with pregame starting at 9. Kickoff at noon with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
Well, the Chiefs get closer and closer to kickoff on Sunday at noon kickoff against the Chargers here on 96.5 The Fan. We'll find out today's injury report a little bit later on, but we know from yesterday, Wanya Morris, Jawan Taylor did not practice. Also, Hollywood Brown did not practice, although that was an excused absence, it looks like, due to personal reasons. Limited participant was Trent McDuffie. Remember, he hyperextended his knee. But if you're wondering about some of the other guys that were a little banged up, Trey Smith was a full participant at practice, as was Brian Cook, who had a little bit of an ankle injury. Patrick Mahomes was a full participant, but they have to mark him down for anything. Knee, he's going to play on Sunday, but just they have to mark down anything. Nick Remigio, who was out last week due to a concussion, was a full participant.
Next up on What's Trending, in the land of free agency baseball, former Royal, not very long, but former Royal, Mike Yastrzemski signed a new contract, 2-year, $23 million deal to sign with the Atlanta Braves. That is certainly more than I thought Yastrzemski was going to get. They also signed Robert Suarez, the closer, to a 3-year, $45 million deal. So the Atlanta Braves in action, getting the, free agency period kicked off.
Local college basketball, the Missouri Tigers in action again tonight. They'll take on Alabama State. They're trying to stop a 2-game losing streak. The Tigers lost to Notre Dame and KU in the last week or so.
Couple things in the NFL. Obviously tonight, Thursday Night Football, Falcons and Bucks for the divisional matchup. Mike Evans, is it kind of expected to play? They're thinking he's going to be in the lineup finally for the Buccaneers, so that'll be interesting. And the Steelers announced that TJ Watt was hospitalized for test after experiencing lung discomfort at the team facility. He's questionable for Monday. They're claiming, or at least the early reports are, it occurred undergoing treatment. Is it weird that initially my instinct was that, like, maybe that, like, some of the Tyrod Taylor thing happened? Like, he was getting treatment and they just misplaced a needle?
I don't know.
They said it happened during treatment. I don't know why I'm not supposed to think that.
But treatment for what, right? I don't know. You know, you're not just...
Was Tyrod's a lung or was it a kidney?
Lung.
I
they punctured his lung. Tyrod, they punctured his lung.
It was his lung? Okay.
But we have no idea what kind of treatment he was undergoing. But yeah, it's bizarre. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. I will buy either of you lunch if you can tell me in the next 10 seconds the mascot or the nickname of Alabama State.
Hornets. Gosh.
Okay, I'll get you lunch. How did you know? Just curious. Did you look it up?
For some reason, no. For some reason,
How the hell do you know that?
There's a lot of people who remember player names, team names, team
Alabama
nicknames,
State?
team nicknames.
Cody, how long would I have had to give you?
Gift.
I should have just made the bet with you.
I mean, maybe if I had just gone through, like, the local ones. North Kansas City's the Hornets. So maybe I would have, maybe if I just started guessing with, like, local high school mascots, I'd have
I don't
gotten
know
it,
why.
actually.
I thought they were, like, the
0%
Bobcats
chance.
or something.
0% chance I would have gotten it.
All right, yeah. Let me know. Today, tomorrow, whatever. I owe you lunch. That's simple. There you go.
He said it so fast, there's
So
nobody even
quick.
looked it up.
So quick.
He definitely knew it.
So quick. That's what's trending.
That's where Sharon Moore will be coaching next.
Okay.
Yikes.
If he's lucky,
let's get into that.
If he's lucky at this point, he'll be there.
Let's get into that. I mean, look, the news yesterday was shocking. Yes, there was speculation and rumors for a couple months about perhaps this alleged, affair or relationship that he was having with a staff member. But it got to the point where, of course, he gets fired. And since then, there's been some disturbing details that have come out. He was arrested. I don't know if he is still currently in jail. I know as of last night he was in jail because there are some reporting out of Ann Arbor that after he was fired, he went to the staffer's house, broke in allegedly, and threatened to harm her and himself. And police were able to fortunately get to another location in time where he was at. So it's turned into a very sad ordeal and a complete mess. And I will say this, though. I texted you guys. This is the sad reality. This is by no means excusing his actions. The guy's a married man. He's out here with an unbelievable job and opportunity, and you do this, okay?
Throw your life away in a lot of ways, yeah.
Not the secondary stuff since he got fired, being arrested. That's truly a personal matter at this point. But if Michigan was the number 5 team in the country and going to the college football playoff, you think they're actually firing him for having a relationship with a staff member? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you,
that's really tough.
I think we have seen time and time
Sadly,
again.
the sports world is gross.
Time and time again, it's a dirty world, man.
I just told you I think he'll get another head coaching job. I mentioned Art Briles and all these other people.
Cody, cover-ups happen at every athletic department. It's not with this exact issue,
Penn
but
State still mentions Paterno every time somebody new gets hired. They're like, and the legacy of Mr.
Matt Campbell did.
And the legacy of Mr. Paterno. No, they'll do horrible things to cover up awful actions.
I think the reality is not the stuff that has happened since, and I'm not excusing it. Just I think if Michigan would have been coming off a win against Ohio State and they were a top 12 team in the country, magically, perhaps the rumors that have been out there for months about this affair and staff member somehow I think would have been brushed under the rug because we've seen that happen before.
I want to think that they would still fire him because of the way that this has kind of fallen apart here. It has just broken down over the last 24 hours where the news came out and all of a sudden it just turned into a chaotic situation. But yeah, we want to believe it, but we don't know, I guess.
Where do you think they go from here? Remember, he was just promoted because he was already on the staff with Harbaugh. And prior to this, he was a great story, a JUCO guy, actually from Kansas. Derby, Kansas is where he grew up. Yep. I mean, rose up through the coaching ranks, like an awesome story.
And they beat Ohio State last year when they had no business doing that.
That was the whole planting the flag thing, and all of that happened. And then this year's been disappointing. anyway. And then now that like you threw away your career, you might be right that he gets another. I don't know. Maybe he does at some point get
It'll
an
be 10
opportunity.
years from now, but it'll happen because it always does.
He's never going to coach at a high level program like this again.
No, absolutely not. Just too big of a liability. Somebody was like, "Look at Urban Meyer to coach." I'm like, "Oh, just going to trade one problem for another."
Urban Meyer can he? I don't think he's picked Ohio. I don't think he's picked Michigan in the game since he left
There's also
Ohio
just
State.
no way. There's just no way.
It's an
agree
insane suggestion.
The rivalry
Here's
is
the thing.
it's never going to
I think if I were any of these other college football programs, I'm pissed because what happens like with Missouri and A&M and all these things is you batten down the hatches. You give Elko his money, you give Drinkwitz his money, or your guy's safe and you're like, okay. We avoid like
Just
Iowa
Brahma,
State.
Louisville, yeah.
Iowa State probably thought they were safe. Like, all right, not bad. We did it. And then Penn State steals them. Like, damn, we got robbed and we thought we might be able to survive it. Now everyone's back on watch because Michigan is going to be desperate, I think, to cover up the embarrassment. So I don't think they're just going to go with, oops, we promoted some guy or some offensive coordinator for Alabama. I think they're going to take a swing, which means either I think offensive coordinator from the NFL level, like all the rumors are.
Well, Joe Brady's name is towards. There's some offshore.
Yeah,
I mean, I
think
could go
some of
through
that.
them. The offshore odds. These are the names at the top of the offshore odd list. This does not mean like there's nobody else that could get hired. But the top name on the list is Kalen DeBoer. I just don't, and he's the head coach at Alabama, obviously. That just
I'll
doesn't
say
make
not impossible, but
make
unlikely.
sense to me. Yeah, very unlikely. But he's the favorite. Jesse Minter. He's the DC. With the Chargers, he has ties to Michigan, but he also has the one-year show cause. A lot of people think that Jesse Minter, if he wants it, could be an NFL head coach this cycle. So without knowing him, I don't know where his desires are, college or pro. Joe Brady, Cody, to your point, that's another NFL OC name to watch. And then further down the list, guys like Kenny Dillingham, who's the Arizona State head coach who just lost his quarterback or is going to in the transfer portal. He's complained publicly about his facilities maybe not being where he wants them to be. That would actually be a hell of a hire for Michigan. And then there's other names that I think are unrealistic. Like Marcus Freeman's on this list. Why would he leave Notre Dame for Michigan? Why? He's guaranteed a top 12. He goes top 12 next year. He's guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff.
Freeman's not leaving. I just don't know why.
Unless he goes NFL.
It's for that maybe, but
I
it's
don't-
way too comfy of a spot. I don't know why you'd leave for Michigan if you're there.
I will say about DeBoer and I guess even Freeman too, to a degree. Never say never because college football is crazy.
Okay.
But I do think in terms of the pecking order of coaches most likely to take that Michigan job, those guys are lower on the list just because of the spots that they're currently at.
Someone said, how about how about Deion Sanders?
If Deion was offered that, he would take that in a
He would take it. They're not offering. That
Correct.
dude just had a terrible year
Correct.
at Colorado.
Yes, I
They're coming
agree.
off, a 4-win year, 3-year win year?
100, yes. Yeah, they would not.
Deion would offer it. It's the same. Like we were talking about earlier about Eli Drinkwitz because ESPN this morning was having this discussion and his name came up. By no means were they reporting that he's taking the job or offered. They're just saying that's the name to watch. And as much as the contract got buttoned up, as you said at MU, if you're Eli Drinkwitz, like that would be a very hard job to say. It's Michigan.
Yeah. But look, he didn't.
Plus he
didn't do Florida. And I'm not saying Michigan's not Florida, but Florida's a big job.
The reason
That's
why
a big job.
But I think so outside of just it being a big job, where he's at, where is he more likely to win at? Is it
in the Big
Missouri
Ten,
or
in the Big
Michigan?
Ten.
Well, he can win a national championship way more easily at Michigan than he can
because
versus Florida.
Yeah, because the Big Ten is only 4 or 5 deep. And obviously the resources are the resources there, but just considering the amount of competition in the conference, it's less in the Big Ten than what it is in the SEC. So that automatically, along with just the job itself, obviously is appealing.
In a lot of ways, instead of trying to get myself to Michigan, I'd just be trying to get Bryce Underwood to Missouri. Like, okay, I'm not going to try to pursue this job.
He has Bo Perbula, though. I don't think he's...
Come on. Are we serious?
Yes.
We're going into the year just saying Bo Perbula's the guy?
That's a mistake.
I think it's a huge mistake.
Eli Drinkwitz will not try. He will not attempt at all whatsoever to go after Bryce Underwood because he has Bo Perbula and he believes in Bo Perbula.
That's idiotic.
Where do you think Dylan Raiola?
I've watched enough Bo Perbula to say he's a perfectly fine quarterback. That ain't good enough.
Where do you think Dylan Raiola ends up? He's leaving Nebraska.
Officially?
Well, no.
Texas Tech. You want to make me guess? He ends up at Texas Tech, and he just continues.
Not officially, Drew, but his
transformation into
what's his
Patrick
family
Mahomes.
member that was the O-line coach just got fired. Yeah, and it seems like
the writing's kind of on the wall.
And his brother that was committed there, decommitted there.
Yeah.
Like it seems like he's gone. Yeah.
Texas Tech is a good guess, Cody. I think I could absolutely see
money.
I could absolutely see that.
I know the Mahomes thing. Yes, I know the Mahomes thing.
Oh, no,
You didn't even think about that, did you?
No, the Mahomes part is why Cody said Texas Tech. That's why Cody said
They
Tech.
actually need a quarterback, too, but it's
if you
just
are
funny.
a supporter of Patrick Mahomes, do you want that happening? If you're Patrick
He
Mahomes,
doesn't care. He's not the one copycatting.
No, I understand, but there's a level of
Oh, it'd be hilarious.
There's a level of
not
ridiculousness. If he did go to Texas Tech, it would also be kind of stupid.
He's done
I think
nothing
we
but
can be
say
honest. It was just stupid.
He's done nothing but say, I'm not trying to emulate him. My hand gesture, those are just the things I do. If he goes and plays quarterback,
Then he has to admit it. Yes, I agree.
Texas Tech. Come
I
on,
agree.
man.
I agree. He has
Come
to
on.
admit it.
You're wearing the sunglasses, the hair, the mannerisms, the
I
gestures,
told you guys-
and now you're a Red Raider. Get the hell out of
I told
here.
you guys after I was at the Nebraska-Cincinnati game earlier this year, and I watched a few of their games later. He's not bad, but I don't come away all that impressed watching Dylan Raiola. Now he's only a sophomore, was only a sophomore.
Would you like if he was Kansas's quarterback
sure,
next year?
absolutely. But when we're talking about progression, he has multiple years to still get better.
Yeah, he does.
I never he was check down city at
He was
times.
okay.
Check down city is what a lot of it was for him early on at Nebraska.
I mean, if
so we'll see.
if you're Bryce Underwood and you're Lane Kiffin, I think Lane would probably try to get Austin Simmons maybe from Ole Miss to go. But if you're Lane Kiffin, Bryce Underwood, where was he committed before flipping to Michigan? LSU.
Yeah.
So I think that they're and Bryce's I saw on McAfee's show he withdrew Michigan from his bio on Instagram. All of this stuff is all the rumors and everything. If you're Lane Kiffin, I think it makes absolute sense.
Or Lane Kiffin could just go up to Michigan.
Off.
You can just leave LSU and say, you know what, go to Michigan.
I will say this: if let's say Kalen DeBoer left, let's say Kalen DeBoer stunned everybody and
That
left.
seems insane to me. I don't know who leaves Alabama.
Let's say he leaves Alabama. If I was Alabama, I would call Lane Kiffin's agent and I would say, we will pay him $20 million to be the head coach today. Today, we will pay him $20 million. He will be the highest head coach by a mile. And I think Lane Kiffin, legitimately, I think Lane Kiffin would. It would be wild, but I could see him leaving LSU without even coaching a game to go be the coach at Alabama. I know it's nuts, but I could absolutely see that happen. If you're also Alabama, I think Marcus Freeman, not that he would leave Notre Dame for Alabama either, but if I was Alabama can pull all the stops because you know who's going to be involved in that as well? Nick Saban. Nick Saban will absolutely be a part of the person who hires the next head coach at Alabama after Kalen DeBoer, if he were to even leave.
It's crazy.
But we'll see because depending on what Michigan does, they could reopen the coaching carousel because it essentially is closed now. But if they poach somebody, then and from a bigger program,
I think it's hard to
then all of a
poach, right?
sudden,
What if they just
I
hire an
think
NFL guy, not even an OC? Is there anybody that we think is just looking for an
an
off-ramp?
NFL head coach
An
or
off-ramp.
Get Bill Belichick, and he can pretend like Tom Brady doesn't exist there, like he does Drake.
No, I'm
May
talking
in
about.
Carolina.
I'm talking about Harbaugh's brother.
Yeah,
John. Yeah,
John goes there.
Would he
I
wanna
thought about
go
that
to-
briefly last
Ravens
night.
talking about firing him. He gets an easy off ramp. Michigan brings him in. His brother had success there. I know his brother got the show cause, but I don't know if they care. It's his brother, not him.
Chip Kelly's not going to
But his
Michigan. I
brother
don't
wanted to
think.
get out of college so damn bad. So part of me wonders.
But if the Ravens are ready for change,
yeah,
Somebody mentioned Brian Kelly or Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's interviewing for the OC job at Georgia Tech. He did that the other day. I think that
if
I
you're
think he's
interviewing for the OC job at Georgia Tech, you're not getting Michigan.
Yeah, Chip Kelly's not going to be a head coach in college football. He'll be a coordinator again, and then maybe a head coach after that. Brian Kelly would be crazy to me.
all right,
That doesn't make any sense.
let's get to it. Little all 32 here on Cody and Gold, brought to you by Sheet Metal Workers Local Number 2. Nominate your school for a $20,000 enrichment grant today at 965thefan.com. So we mentioned Jalen Hurts the other night after that terrible performance against the Chargers. Jeremy Fowler was on our sister station up in Philly, WIP, and the quote was, "Some people around the league were starting to think the Eagles might draft a quarterback high in 2026, even before the Jalen Hurts 4-interception performance." How crazy is this? Jalen Hurts, 2 Super Bowls, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champ, looked great in both Super Bowls. And you're telling me that they
Still has
actually
the team
might...
actively in first place in their division.
They're going to win their division this year. Now, I'm not impressed when I watch Jalen Hurts, other than the Super Bowls. Other than the Super Bowls, which is those are the biggest moments. But it sounds weird to say other than the Super Bowls, but he looks very average and pedestrian out there. They've got weapons. I'm not a big fan of their head coach, as you guys know. I think their offense is a disaster. Jalen Hurts is coming off a terrible performance, but this idea that they're going to go be picking in the 20s and they're going to draft, and I like Ty Simpson out of Alabama. Well, they're going to trade up and draft Ty Simpson at pick 20. And he's going to take over for Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, contractually, they're not getting out of that deal unless they trade him. And somebody would trade for Jalen Hurts,
someone
obviously.
would, for the obvious reasons. He's done.
Jalen Hurts is 27 years old. I don't buy it. And I agree that he does not look good, but I don't buy that they're moving on. Do you?
No. They take a third or a fourth, maybe, but it would still take Jalen Hurts' team falling off a planet, getting hurt, or a million other things. Look, Philly's moved on from a coach who won them a Super Bowl, like Nick Foles. I think it'd be sooner Nick Sirianni got
or
the
Doug
boot.
Peterson, yeah.
Or Doug Peterson, sorry, not Nick Foles. Nick Foles too, but also he was the backup at the time. They've moved on from quarterbacks who've won for them. Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, coaches who have won for them, Doug Peterson. This feels a little different, man. They're going to the NFC title game most years. They've been to a pair of Super Bowls, and he actually won one. No, I don't think he'd take it all that serious. I was thinking about another quarterback myself, and that I think because it's year 2, I'm going to proceed with caution, but I'm going to have to admit at this point, we're going to have Drake May somewhere in the top 10
Absolutely.
of active NFL quarterbacks at the end of this season. If he goes to win the Super Bowl, probably higher than that. Look, I'm not so reactionary that I'm going to put him above Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and hell, even Lamar Jackson, who is slipping down the rankings, or even Matt Stafford, who I would still have above and all that. Outside of the names I just listed, you make a pretty quick argument there for Drake May, especially if he has playoff success, which is where I'm going to judge this. Because right now, I think he's on a talent level of some of the guys we've talked about, Dak and Herbert, and the guys that have ebbed and flowed, but we've moved down because they don't do anything in the postseason. If he does something in the postseason, he immediately gets to be above everybody that we haven't previously mentioned.
I think he's the real deal. I think you do as well. His style of play also feels like it's more sustainable. He also still doesn't have a bevy of weapons. So wait until they continue to build up that roster. They can do that. Remember, he's on a rookie deal, so they can continue to do that moving forward with the roster. We all agree he's got a great head coach there in Mike Vrabel. I know you don't like Josh McDaniel, but as an OC, he's pretty damn good. Sucks as a head coach. Great OC. He's not going to leave. That's actually a benefit for Drake May. He's not going to lose his OC because the guy can't get another head coaching gig anymore.
He get Michigan's job?
No. So he is going to be the OC for a while.
He's only been a pro.
Yeah, no, I got you. So I agree. I think Drake May will be in the top 10 conversation. What's so weird about him is he does not have one single game with 300 yards passing, but he's a legit MVP candidate.
No, he should. I mean, they don't need it. I don't blame, this is the Jalen Hurts thing. I don't normally blame quarterbacks for not screwing things up for them. They've also had one of the softest schedules historically in NFL history. It's like one of the softest ones in 30 years. They played no one, which is also why I'm not going to just leap him into the conversation. And if you made me rank today, I probably wouldn't put him in the top 10. He'd be like 11 or 12. He'd be just on the outside. He'd just be looking in from the outside window, but he'd be close.
I'd have to go through my updated I think I would probably have him 9 or 10, but I'd have to go through and see who I'm leaving out.
Yeah, it's tougher than you think, obviously, as you know.
So there's some news that came out today regarding the refs union in the NFL. Their CBA is set to expire, and the NFL had outlined some priorities, among them being increased training and development for lower performing officials. Also, they want to make it a performance rewarding sort of standard that only high performing officials share in the year-end bonus period. I think some of these things, as well as the access to training in general, just make them full-time, because part-time work results, I think, ends up in part-time results where it's not their main job, the officials. If their main job was to make sure that they are on their P's and Q's in every facet of what being an official is, I think they're, just off of that alone, would be more consistent officiating, less mistakes. You wouldn't have the replay assist being told that it was wrong. Like, a lot of these things, I think could kind of solve themselves with them just being full-time, where the NFL would be able to get their standards met by just making them full-time.
The league is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. How the hell do you not have one of the key pivotal parts of the game full-time? Hundreds of billions, maybe $1 trillion. I don't know.
Yeah, they should
based
be.
on team net worth. Like, what the hell are we doing here?
They should be full-time. I was reading something, I can't remember, again, Front Office Sports. I think it's actually a really good site just for more on this kind of stuff, the business side and this. And they were mentioning that as much as we blame the NFL for not having the full-time officials, and I think it's inexcusable. Yeah, the issue is some of these officials don't want to be full-time because they enjoy doing this NFL thing.
Double dipping.
And then they get to go be an attorney, and a lot of them are CPAs and attorney. What I say to that is start training some others and build up a pool. And, hey, if That's the only option. You got to be full-time.
It's a full-time job.
Now, right now, they don't have enough in the back burner of talented officials to do that. But eventually, it should get to a point where, well, if you want to officiate our games, you have to be full-time. Pick a career path. You don't get to do both.
There was something, one of the...
now, give him a raise or whatever to be full-time. But
100%.
And I think it is an extremely difficult job to do.
Yes.
And the pressure and the scrutiny is off the charts as an official. So, yeah, they should be highly paid. They really should, and some of them are already.
One of the changes also that the league bargained for was creating a practice squad. The league says it is considering increasing the number of game officials to develop a deeper bench.
I kind
smart.
of love that. Yeah.
They need to.
I like it too.
They
it
need
just
to have
sounds funny.
other. Well, you cannot hold some of these refs accountable if you don't actually have better options that can replace them.
Average referee salary currently in the NFL is around $215,000. Typical range is between 205 and 270. And again, for part-time work.
You know what?
Just pay them $300,000 or $350,000.
I can see Drew going out there and trying to start officiating some junior high football games and lower level stuff. Yeah.
I was thinking legitimately between the three of us, it's part-time work. We can host a radio show and then on Sunday fly out to wherever and ref a game. $200,000.
I'm trying to coach you,
Drew. You got to start at the lowest of low levels, and then if you're lucky, you're doing high school games, and then from there you're lucky if you're doing Division III, if that still exists, football.
It does. It does.
My plan is to coach the Roos, remember?
Still no scholarships in D3.
That's true.
But there are scholarships in NAIA, which is also another weird thing.
I mean, heck, reffing 12-year-olds is even worse, I would feel at this point. You got the parents trying to fight you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. Way worse. I don't understand what's going on there.
Acting like
Marvin
you
Menzies makes.
$670,000.
No, way too high.
I think it's
way
like
too high.
$300,000.
Way too high. This is
in
the
the
problem.
hundreds of
That
thousands.
was just a random guess.
I think he's making $180 to $200. UMKC, with all due respect to them, it is not a great basketball program. Sorry,
I might have oversold it by a wide mile.
You put it quite softly. You know what? Here, I got it. He's a public employee. So,
okay. Where's he making?
The most recent data was 2023. So when he first took the job at UMKC, he's making $250,000. $249,674 when he took over.
A third of what I guessed.
Jeez.
Not like half. I mean, because he's probably making $300,000 now, Drew. I'm sure he gets a raise every year.
Did they lose again last night? They were playing Weber State. They were down when I checked.
Everybody, dude.
They're like 1-9. There you go. Good pull. Yes, he is.
in college basketball.
Yeah.
The Weber State.
They did lose to the Weber State Wildcats.
Purple. Yeah, that's right. Color scheme.
64-60.
Yeah.
Dang, man, they can't buy a win right now unless it's against an NAIA school.
I'll tell you right now.
Again, Cody stopped his NIL funding. Oh, we're waiting for a break, but yeah.
They get to 1-20. This show's going to be spending part of January petitioning me to be the next head coach of UMKC.
Oh, gosh.
I will not be a part. Hold on. I will.
Why? Doug Gottlieb can do it, and he sucks.
He played college basketball.
As much as I agree that Doug Gottlieb stinks, he knows what the hell he's doing. Even if he's not good at it, you can still know what you're doing and suck at it. Cody, you don't know what you're doing at all with it. That's the problem.
I'll get people around me.
That should be part of your pitch.
I'll get smart people.
With what budget? You just told me the head coach is making $250.
Sirianni. I'll find some people who know ball.
The head coach is making $250. What do you think his staff members are making?
I'm going to clip this. It'll be the social clip, and I will tag Doug Gottlieb right now.
Oh gosh,
local radio
don't
host
do
in
that.
Kansas City.
There's no reason to do that.
I won't.
Don't put Cody in that spot. No reason to do that.
It's falling apart for the Roos.
All right, up next, we're going to talk some fantasy football with Paul Charchian. It's fantasy football playoff week. What do you do with the Colts situation? Jalen Hurts, bench candidate. What do you do? That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth. Why not start today?
Hey, you already know that there's nothing like a custom design and crafted jewelry treasure from House of Diamonds. A one-of-a-kind creation built from scratch for a one-of-a-kind love. But sometimes you have a need for speed. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and just in case custom jewelry isn't in the cards, we have a case. Actually, we have 19 cases filled with some of the most beautiful handcrafted jewelry you'll ever see. Earrings, rings, bracelets, pearls, pendants, and fine gemstones. A lot of it we created in our shop. All of it carries our name with the quality and craftsmanship you've come to expect from House of Diamonds. And any item can be tweaked and customized just for you. Think of it as Custom Express. Custom Express or custom from scratch. Get it at locally owned, family owned House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet does not win. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day. Get into hockey, basketball, and pro football with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sign up today using bonus code DUSTY to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Minimum deposit of $10 to participate. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Men, if the long lines to the bathroom have been holding you back from attending sporting events and you're waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. Jeff Montgomery here to talk about the minimally invasive procedure I had that made a big difference. I went to Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. The procedure was quick and easy, and I'm very happy with the result. Don't put up with being uncomfortable. Contact Miva Medical. That's MIVA-medical.com.
Need parts fast? Need them now? O'Reilly is fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly Auto Parts stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 Brake Best Select rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10 more. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20 more. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
Here's something most doctors know that most men never talk about. Stress from work, money, and family doesn't disappear at night. It could follow you into the bedroom, and suddenly your mind won't let your body do what it used to do naturally. For moments like that, doctors often look for treatments that help both the brain and the body. That's where Rugiet Ready comes in. Unlike those other popular brands, Rugiet Ready is a next-generation drug that helps prime your brain for arousal and increase blood flow. It uses 3 C ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes on average. Over 150,000 men have already tried Rugiet. A doctor reviews your health online, and if it's appropriate, the prescription ships discreetly to your door. Visit Rugiet.com/sports to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/sports. Individual results may vary. Rugiet Ready is a compounded prescription that is not FDA approved. Visit Rugiet.com for full safety information.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also Motivating Manning When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Now, when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide. Is both. Nationwide. Is both. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Store. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew a Halloween costume would change my life and lead me to Renner Garage Door? Renner's KC's go-to team for service, repair, and replacement.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Reminder, we're bringing back the snitch line around 1:15 today. We do it every couple of Thursdays. 1:15, snitch line Thursday, 913-586-7965. Those of you who listen to the show for a while, you know how this works. It all started back during COVID when the NBA had their bubble snitch line, so we created our own, and it's stuck with us ever since. And we will have that coming up at 1:15. Something that you witnessed, something you've done, something you get off your chest. 913-586-7965. But it's time to talk some fantasy football. It's playoff time for most of us. Paul Charchian, the Fantasy Football Hall of Famer, joins us, and he's brought to you by Twin Peaks Eats, Drink, Scenic Views. I'm curious what your strategy would be here in a guillotine league. There's 3 of us left, all right? And rosters are starting to get very loaded, as you know. There's one person that has no money left. There's 2 of us that have a few bucks left. And we were talking about chopping it 3 ways. And I said, I really would like to wait until we get to the final 2.
I don't think you should chop at all. I think that's some weak stuff. Unless you really think you're going to lose. I mean, I think that, the people who chop are the ones who think that they can't win.
Right.
So, if you like your team,
I do.
Don't do it. I did it one time. It like it was like 2003, and I of course I went on to win the whole thing. I've regretted it ever since. Man, go all in. And I just think, like, if you believe in your team and you think you've got a reasonable chance, life is better with more at stake.
I know.
Go for the win, man. I don't like chopping.
Yeah, I was telling Cody, I think if I were to do it, it would definitely have to be, I'd have to wait till the finals. Like, I'm not doing it with 3 of us left, I don't think. And here's the challenge. I saw some people texting in, whether you're in a guillotine format or whatever, you've got, these star players, and now there's a couple in this last week that are tricky to figure out. For example, you got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts as my options at quarterback for a guillotine league. What the hell do I do?
Well, I mean, I think you start Allen every week, and this is, you can't. They've got the epic rematch with New England coming up here. You can't run on the Patriots at all. This is the league's best run defense. So I think the path of least resistance is through the air, and I think it's going to be through Josh Allen. Now Hurts is really fascinating, right? So last week, he had the single worst play in the history of fantasy football, -4 points in most scoring systems, where you lose 2 points for the interception, you lose 2 points for the lost fumble. First guy in fantasy football history to score -4 points on a single play and put out negative points in many scoring systems, negative points on the whole day, which almost never happens. And there's so many things wrong with the Eagles right now. Offensive line's not as good. Lane Johnson hurt a lot. Landon Dickerson in and out of games. The tush-push's efficacy is not as high. And then you've got Jalen Hurts just playing bad. I mean, bad reads, throwing at covered players, missing open players, staring down his first read, sailing balls. You saw that pass on Monday night to A.J. Brown, where A.J. Brown had to make that business decision in the middle of the field. That's on Jalen Hurts as much as it is on A.J. Brown. If you're going to send your receiver where he has to fully extend and expose himself across the middle of the field, where he's going to get lit up, if he doesn't come down with the ball, that's at least partially on Hurts. The hope for all of your Eagles is this. Next week, it's the Commanders. if you can just hang on 1 week.
Hmm.
I mean, you still have to. That's the hard part. You still have to start Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, probably Devontae Smith, but if you don't have to start those guys, it's the Raiders this week. That they're an okay pass defense, or better than you think. It's Washington next week, and that they can power you through the semifinals by themselves next week.
Like, Charge, I'm going to ask you because you're in Minnesota and because some of us are stuck in this situation. Justin Jefferson, he has 15 total yards between the last 2 weeks. They're off. And now, look, they beat the Commanders fairly easily and didn't have to throw. The week before was pretty bleak. But, I mean, like, you get stuck in these situations where do I actually bench Justin Jefferson and start Mike Wilson instead?
Yeah.
Just because he's hot? What do you do in these circumstances?
Well, in that particular one, yes, but I do like Jefferson here. So let's talk it through. By the way, Vikings, I don't know if you guys saw this peculiar stat for the Vikings. 2 weeks ago, shut out by Seattle. This week, almost the exact same score. They shut out the Commanders. First team since 1992 to flip shutouts in consecutive weeks.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
crazy.
wild.
That is weird.
And here, isn't it weird? And
Yeah.
here's the thing. They put up 31 points last week, shut out the Commanders. J.J. McCarthy was legitimately good, and Justin Jefferson had 2 catches for 11 yards. The prior 2 seasons, Justin Jefferson only had 2 two-catch games, and they were each separated by a season. It was 2023, 2024. He had 2-catch games. Now he's got them in consecutive games. But it's Dallas this week. That's the thing that makes this hard, because Dallas, dead last in yards allowed to opposing receivers, dead last touchdowns allowed to opposing receivers, and correspondingly dead last in fantasy points to opposing receivers. He's still averaging 8 targets per game from J.J. McCarthy. They're not good targets, but they're 8 targets per game. It's just Dallas is so bad. I got to believe that Justin Jefferson's going to spin this thing back. And the Vikings organizationally, they need Justin Jefferson to get the ball in their hands. They do not want to roll into next season with questions about whether or not Jefferson wants to be a Minnesota Viking. They need to get the ball in his hands. I think you start him here as my wide receiver 21. I like him more here than I have really any game for the last month. So let's hope Justin Jefferson can get it spun around here against a bad defense.
We're talking to Paul Chardsheehan here. He joins us each and every Thursday, getting us set for the fantasy football playoffs. What about the Colts? The Phillip Rivers story, I'm fascinated by it. I think it's great just in terms of all the questions that now it brings to the table. Fantasy football-wise, what does this do for Jonathan Taylor, for example?
Yeah, that's really a lot of this. By the way, it's probably Riley Leonard starting this game, in part because of Seattle. Do you really want to bring Phillip Rivers, who's 4 years and 48 weeks away from the game, against the Seattle defense as his debut game? I don't think so. I think it's going to be Riley Leonard. And even though the Colts can't afford any more losses, I mean, they really can't, but I think they're going to go with the kid that's been on roster the whole time, and Riley Leonard's practicing. So I think it'll be him. Now, to me, because it's Seattle, who just destroyed the whole Vikings offense when they were doing a first start player against Seattle, Riley Leonard being in the same position, I think Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce are all dead to us against Seattle this week. Jonathan Taylor, Seattle's going to play to stop him, right? I mean, if you're Seattle facing Riley Leonard, or even if it is Phillip Rivers, again, I don't think it's going to be, you'd still play to just stop Jonathan Taylor. It doesn't mean you can.
Do you bench Taylor then in fantasy?
No, I mean, it's my lowest grade of the year. He's my running back 11, so you still have to start him because he's Jonathan Taylor, and they're going to run a lot, and maybe just even garbage time, whatever. But I don't love him here, and this is going to be a tricky spot where you're just hoping to survive the next week and get into the semifinal round with Jonathan Taylor.
It's like, I don't want to get married to players who have gotten me there the entire way, Charge, but I'm also not going to go down not starting Jonathan Taylor. Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, I lose my fantasy matchup and I didn't start Jonathan Taylor when he was great. Like, I'm not living that life.
Exactly, Cody. How do you survive 6 months of knowing that you benched Jonathan Taylor because you didn't like the matchup? I mean, that's a hard way to live through life. By the way, do you guys think, where are you on Rivers, first ballot Hall of Famer, eventual Hall of Famer, or outside of the Hall of Fame?
Definitely not first ballot. That's not happening. Eventual Hall of Famer, is where I'm at.
Counting stats.
I think he gets there eventually. And certainly, Charge, let's say he starts next Monday night against the Niners and finds a way to win a game or two. This will help. This will actually help his Hall of Fame case.
Agreed. I don't expect him to do anything in the playoffs. If he does get them to the playoffs, I don't think the Colts look like a team that's going to, that he's going to march the Colts into the playoffs. But I agree. If he comes in and plays well here, it will ultimately help him. And fascinating decision. We've never seen a player reset their Hall of Fame clock like he is doing here for 5. He was ready to get voted in potentially this year. I think by the way, 7th most passing yards history of the NFL, Phillip Rivers.
I know.
And I know for your listeners, you're used to just winning championships and that, championships count for a lot. I'm from Minnesota. So I don't think you have to have NFL championships to be Hall of Fame, eligible or even great playoff success. Because I don't think the failures of the Chargers during Phillip Rivers' era in the playoffs was really on Rivers. I think Rivers played great for most of his career.
Charge, in the game tonight, a couple of players I'm going to ask about. One is Mike Evans, who's going to return tonight. So whether or not you think he's startable, but as a Bucky Irving owner in multiple leagues, are we back to just getting regular Bucky Irving? Just start him like he was supposed to be the rest of the way?
I love Bucky Irving. I honestly, I think there's Jahmyr Gibbs is sort of like at his own level. Maybe Jonathan Taylor on his own level. And then I think Bucky Irving's right there as an ability skill set. The power, the speed, the footwork. He's so shifty. He's such a tough tackle. And he can catch. He's so good. And this offense they need Bucky Irving. The offense hasn't been right really since Mike Evans went down. We'll talk about him in just a second. Only thing I'll note on Bucky Irving, who you absolutely start. He scored touchdowns in each of his 2 games since coming back. Falcons' run defense has been really good. Last 4 games, just giving up 60 rushing yards per game. And Bucky kind of flopped in the earlier matchup, season opener, when these teams met, just 45 yards. Did score a receiving touchdown in that game. But I just feel like he's one of those guys you always start. He's my number 7 ranked running back this week. For Evans, this is really tricky. He's my wide receiver 28. Now, this Bucs offense hasn't been right since he went down. He went down 7 games ago. Baker Mayfield has thrown 0 or 1 touchdown in 6 of those 7 games. They are not the same offense without Mike Evans. And man, they need this jolt. They need to get back to what they were doing when Mike Evans was in and a major part of the offense. Here we are, mid-December. The Bucs are 1 game over 500 with no chance at a wild card spot. They need wins here, and they got to get Mike Evans back in and as big a part of this offense as they can. No Cade Otton tonight. That's just another reason for Mike Evans to have a significant role in this game. And I don't think they're going to ease him in. I think he's going to get a pretty full workload here, and I would start him in most leagues, wide receiver 28.
Yeah, along the same lines. What do you make of Baker tonight, fantasy-wise? And then if it's not, Mike Evans, you said to start. What about Chris Godwin, who looks like he'll be in the mix again? Also, I think McMillan's back off potentially the IR.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do for those receivers?
I like Baker Mayfield, and I kind of like buying on the dip here with Evans back. When Evans was playing, Mayfield was averaging 256 games. Without Evans, he was averaging 160 yards. 256 to 160. It was a 90-yard differential without Evans. And so now with Evans back, I like him. And he was throwing touchdowns like crazy as well. So I think you go back to Mayfield as a plausible starter. Now he's my quarterback 13. So I'm showing a little bit of caution, but I still think he's potentially startable here. Falcons over the last 5 games have struggled against quarterbacks. It's a nice opportunity for Baker Mayfield if you want to buy the dip there. And Chris Godwin, who I basically wrote off for dead, he's actually looked pretty spry. And, I just worry again now with Evans back, is Godwin going to get the same kind of utilization he was getting the past couple of weeks where they were throwing to him a lot? But Godwin I was worried he was going to be like dragging one leg behind himself and, limping across the field. I thought he's actually looked pretty good here. Runs from the slot a fair amount. And the Falcons have had some struggles against slot receivers this year. They've given up the 8th highest ratio of slot receiver yards, if that all makes sense. So you got an option with Godwin if you need it.
And then last one, Kirk Cousins and that Falcons offense. Kyle Pitts seems to be his favorite target.
Yes. Kyle Pitts. Okay. Talk about the stones it takes as a fantasy player to start Kyle Pitts in the playoffs. Because we have every fantasy player in America has been burned by Kyle Pitts.
More than once
in his career. Yes, exactly. But here's the thing. In 4 Cousins starts, he's averaging 8 targets, 6 catches, 64 yards. And part of it is because, no Drake London. Darnell Mooney's just evaporated from this offense. They're starting David Sills. David Sills is on the field. This is a pretty good opportunity for Kyle Pitts. And, when these teams met in the season opener, Pitts puts up 7 catches, 59 yards. There's a scenario here where you're starting Kyle Pitts. He's got a knee injury, by the way. And you always have to worry about whether or not this is going to be one of those games where Kyle Pitts just decides he doesn't care about the NFL game. And the ball's going to come his way. And he's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll try for it. Maybe I won't. But if there are reasons to feel like Kyle Pitts could be sitting on a good game here.
Paul Charchian, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer. Fantasy Football playoffs get going tonight. We appreciate it, man. Good luck this week. You got like 10 leagues running, I guess. 15 of them, I'm assuming, at this point.
Yeah, I started with 14. About half were guillotine leagues. Got chopped in some of those. I'm alive in 4. Yeah, that's not bad.
Pretty
4
good.
Guillotine leagues and about 4 others. So it's not bad. I'd love to tell your listeners, I made the playoffs in all my leagues. But it was all just injuries. Injuries. You can't predict that.
Didn't take a single bad player. All hits.
Right, exactly. I didn't make any bad picks. Definitely not Jordan Mason, who I was sure was sitting on double-digit touchdowns in the preseason. Definitely did not draft him on like 10 different leagues.
Church, who burned me worse than maybe anybody in my league this year was Ladd McConkey. The hell, I thought he used to get like 15 targets a game and 10 catches. In a PPR league, I thought he was gold.
Absolutely. And, they've got a super easy set of matchups the rest of the way. They've one of the easiest wide receiver matchups through the fantasy playoffs. So for those who actually survived with him, maybe he's going to help you here. But there are games where he's just invisible, and you can't know when they're coming is the other frustrating thing. It's just, one game it's all Ladd McConkey. Then they go, we're going to run Keenan Allen from the slot a bunch of times instead. And then other times just the pass blocking is so bad they're missing both tackles that Ladd McConkey doesn't do anything. And it's just, I don't blame you. That has been a super frustrating guy.
Charge, appreciate it, man.
Thanks. Talk to you next week for the semifinals. Bye-bye.
That's right. Yeah, semis right around the corner. Hopefully the final 2 in some of those guillotine leagues as well. Charge joins us thanks to Twin Peaks Eats, Drink, Scenic Views. All right, it is time for the random question.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. The one I had for today is a little bit longer of a conversation, so we'll save it for tomorrow. So instead, I will ask you for some advice for my son, once again, in the love life department. Drew, you had asked not that long ago. Someone on the text line had asked not that long ago about how it was going with the girl from last year. Well, I was a week ago, Gold, informed that she has another boyfriend. But he, as he had put it, he seemed very unbothered. He said, she got another boyfriend. It's not a big deal. We're not like in the same class anymore. And he was like, so he seemed completely unbothered. Not a big deal. But just this morning, Drew, and he needs advice. He said he didn't know what he should do, so I will ask you guys for him. He just this morning said, I don't want to go to school today. I said, why, man? Why do you want to go to school today? And he said, there's a girl in his class who sits next to him at his table in the classroom that yesterday said, you're my boyfriend now. And he said he did not agree to that. And he doesn't know what his next play is as a first grader with maybe very little play in the situation. So what do? You're in first grade. A girl says you're her boyfriend. He doesn't seem real keen on that at the moment. What's the play?
Just roll with it, man. Just roll with it.
Just say yes. I mean, it's not like you have to get together and get some presents or anything.
You're not texting. You don't have to stay in communication. You only see her at class, and he's in second grade, third grade, first grade. Just roll with it. Don't even just ignore it. Act like it didn't even happen.
Just be like, yeah, sure, man, whatever you say, and just move on. Yep. What if it escalates?
How's it going to escalate? They're in first grade.
It felt like it escalated last year for him.
She gives him a kiss, and he's like, I don't want this.
And he got in trouble last year for that kiss. Remember, he had to teacher had to tell him that they, he can't be running into problems, man.
I think he's got to be honest.
I think he's got to just turn her down.
But I agree.
Figure out a way to do it.
He's going to go up to her like, we need to have a talk.
I think the next time if she should just ignore it.
He actually should phrase it that way.
I think you ignore it, and then when it comes back around, if she says something about a game, be like, hey, listen.
Life lessons with your son.
Put it on me. Say my dad says I can't have a girlfriend right now. You know?
No.
Put the blame on me. That's fine.
Cody, I think to Gold's point,
is that an Akon song? Put the blame on me or something? I don't know what it is.
To Gold's point,
to
Gold's point, your son needs to tell her we need to have a talk and phrase it that way so he can, again, this is another life lesson. He can be prepared for that sort of a conversation, whether it's him initiating it or her initiating it. He should have an expectation, at least, or an experience with that early on at this point, given his recent experience. In the last year.
And he, like the way he phrased it was like, he's like, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl who sits next to me in class, but she says that she's my girlfriend now, and I didn't agree to that. And I was like, yeah, man, you gotta stand up. You don't want a girlfriend, you gotta say something.
Yes, I
Life's
agree.
life. Even if it's tough,
Someone
man.
says, tell your son no new relationships before Christmas.
Everybody knows that.
Got to wait till after Valentine's Day.
Not before Valentine's Day, not before Christmas.
Yeah.
It's good at least that he's unbothered that this other girl has another boyfriend, and he's like, you know what?
He's moved on from her.
It's cool.
I think from the very beginning he wasn't interested, and then they just ran into issues because she was telling him to defriend people and stuff. What are you gonna do?
First grade.
Someone says first grade is crazy early for boyfriend girlfriends.
I agree.
Yeah.
Obviously, he agrees. By the way, for whatever it's worth, I don't think he's actually trying to pursue any of this.
Meanwhile, he's got his father on the radio.
Badmouth someone to try to sleep with someone's wife or something. There's no context in that clip.
So he is not
The context
initiated.
doesn't help, but,
He is not initiated
still.
either of these conversations, correct?
No.
He isn't. So he literally is just sitting there in class, and he
just minding
I
his
will
business,
say,
man.
Spec brought up a good point. He's got aura already, where he doesn't have to do anything.
First grade aura.
And
Can you have aura in first grade?
Yes.
Aura.
He's just sitting there
Can
minding
you
his
have
own
Riz
business.
in first grade?
He is minding his own business. He has the aura that I think a lot of people wish they had.
Someone says there's nothing he can do. He's her boyfriend. Stuck.
So I say, just roll with it. You're in first grade. Just roll with it.
I told you, man, one of the most awkward conversations I've ever had with another human being was sixth grade when my brother had told someone I'd be their boyfriend, pretending to be me on the phone. And I had to go in there.
Awkward.
I had to go in there in the
That's
sixth
crazy.
grade. They said, I heard that you are Brianna's boyfriend. And I was like, what? Said she talked to you on the phone last night. Said you agreed to be her boyfriend. I'm like, oh, this conversation.
Your brother, your brother did that to you.
Oh, set me up.
I had a heart-to-heart with him. Like,
dude, we threw fists. He kicked my
I
ass.
was saying,
He's
did
way
you kick
older
his
than me.
ass? I was
no,
gonna say.
he kicked my ass.
Yeah.
But I still had to fight. I don't have a choice there. You have to fight in that situation.
Yeah.
There's no out.
Yeah, that is the random question of the day. Up next, let's get back into what Joe Burrow had to say yesterday. Comments that we really haven't heard from a quarterback in this league since Andrew Luck, plus an update on a potential Royals free agent target, and it is a Snitch Line Thursday. Wide open, 913-586-7965.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back. And however you like to get in on the action, you can do it on Underdog right now in Missouri. The season can make your team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Using Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your favorite team will win or your favorite players will go higher or lower than stats on points, rebounds, steals, and more. Plus, with Underdog's quick payouts, you can get your profits fast. So download the app today. Use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Player picks, team picks, all on Underdog. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing-good-terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
With the first pick in the McDonald's breakfast draft, I'm going with a tasty sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle sandwich. Bold move, sweet, savory, totally stacked. But wait, that delicious sausage McMuffin with egg sandwich is still on the board. Lucky for me, McD lets you mix and match 2 for just $5. And right now, any size iced coffee is only $1.89. Breakfast at McDonald's. That's the real winning deal. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel, because FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot means that you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each and every week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores either the first or the last touchdown in the game, then you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to take a shot at the jackpot. Remember my promo code KFNZ for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit boost hosting on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help us your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Here's something most doctors know that most men never talk about. Stress from work, money, and family doesn't disappear at night. It could follow you into the bedroom, and suddenly your mind won't let your body do what it used to do naturally. For moments like that, doctors often look for treatments that help both the brain and the body. That's where Rugiet Ready comes in. Unlike those other popular brands, Rugiet Ready is a next-generation drug that helps prime your brain for arousal and increase blood flow. It uses 3 C ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes on average. Over 150,000 men have already tried Rugiet. A doctor reviews your health online, and if it's appropriate, the prescription ships discreetly to your door. Visit Rugiet.com/sports to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/sports. Individual results may vary. Rugiet Ready is a compounded prescription that is not FDA approved. Visit Rugiet.com for full safety information.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Nick Bolton. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Clean on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you.
This wasn't the song you were talking about, though.
No, he thinks, here's the issue. I said thank you because someone texted in this as well. They said, I think you're thinking of Shaggy. It wasn't me. No, I'm not.
I know you were.
No, I'm not.
I know you were.
Cody said, I told him he can put the blame on me. And I said, it reminds me, there's the Akon song. Sorry, you can put the blame on me. And I confirmed during the break that it was correct. Yeah. You guys, you know what I'm talking about, the Akon song.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
You can put the blame on me. That song.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the song I'm talking about.
Not
Shaggy.
Not it wasn't you. You can put the.
It wasn't me. No, that was anyway.
Me.
Textland had a lot of varied suggestions over there. Somebody said that they just told their son they weren't allowed to have a girlfriend until they were 35 when they were in the first grade. Someone says restraining order. That feels a little far. Well, we can get some of your bad dating stories on the snitch line coming up in 10 minutes. 913-586-7965 or YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook where we live stream the show. We can get all your answers over there as well. Been a little while since we did a Snitch Line Thursday.
I like the Snitch Line.
I do too.
You know, it's something we started back first year of the show.
Someone tell me about that guy, that relationship that was going on at the dealership. That thing blow up? I want to know what's going on. That's an OG Snitch
for
Line.
our original
5 years ago Snitch Line stuff.
Almost 6. In January, it'll be 6 years of this show, by the way. We're less than a month away from 6 years of Cody and Gold. Time flies, my goodness. But you're right. That was an OG story, a Latha Auto Store, wasn't it? And I don't remember the gentleman's name, but a Latha Auto Store. And that's how it started, with the alleged affair at a Latha Auto Store. Anyway.
So many years ago.
Let us know. Let us know what you're seeing around the office.
That guy may be working somewhere else.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's start, though, talking about Joe Burrow for a bit, because it was the comments yesterday were the first time we've heard a quarterback speak like that, really, since Andrew Luck. And I'm not telling you that Joe Burrow's going to retire tomorrow or this offseason. It's something that I think, certainly if you're Cincinnati, you got to be worried about. I think if you're a teammate of his, you need to make sure you're talking to Joe Burrow, because the way he sounded, it's not just a football thing, it's a personal thing. And let me just play you the audio, then we can go from there. This was Burrow yesterday, just talking about kind of how he's feeling, where his mind is at right now with the game of football, and mentions that it's just been a tough year.
No, it certainly doesn't change my desire to win. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for?
What was the changing point?
Changing point. I'm not sure there was a singular moment or of time. It's just reflection on a lot of things that I've done and been through in my career. I think I've been through more than most, and it's certainly not easy on the brain or the body. So just trying to have fun doing it again.
You seem like there's something on your mind, or maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seemed frustrating.
There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Football related, personally?
All the above.
So there's a lot there from Joe Burrow. And again, the last time any of us can remember a quarterback publicly saying things like that was Andrew Luck. We all know that resulted in an early retirement for Andrew Luck. He was also dealing with injuries and constantly rehabbing and just kind of fell out of the love of the game. And you've got Joe Burrow, who is, once again, coming back from an injury. His team also is not having much success, haven't been in the playoffs in a while, and all this. I'm just saying that if the organization, and frankly him in his own personal life, if that doesn't get, quote-unquote, better, they should be very concerned that in a year or two that he might step away like Andrew Luck.
Yeah. I would take that very serious. Adam Schefter did his podcast earlier today, and he said people in league circles noticed that. And then you couldn't, because for two reasons. One, if being a Cincinnati Bengal is depressing him to this level, if some of this is environment and team and management, if there's any part of that, well, then if I'm the New York Jets, how many first-round picks you want? Right? If I'm like another team, this looks like a crack in the door to convince myself to get Joe Burrow, right? Like if I'm a team that thinks that's on the table, I'm immediately thinking it's possible now. But I mean, he sounds genuinely, and like I worry about him as a human being, he sounds genuinely depressed about playing football, being a part of football, or anything else going on in his life. He sounds like he's having an absolutely miserable time. And so like if I were Cincinnati, if Patrick Mahomes had said that, we'd have done the entire 4 hours today on those comments, because that sounds like someone who's done with it. I'm not saying he is, but if you made him retire today or keep playing football, it sounds like today he'd just be like, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything like. I think some of it is obviously to do with the football stuff, but like the on the field performance from the team. But I think more of it is just because the Colts weren't like they weren't protecting him from some standpoint, but also Andrew Luck couldn't get out of his own way. He was trying to run guys over. He was trying to be Cam Newton. And he consistently dealt with concussions and stuff like that. And Joe Burrow hasn't had the concussion issue.
But he's been hurt.
That Andrew Luck
has
has
hurt
had
a lot of times.
But yeah, I think that it's the concept of continuing to do it over and over again. And I think it has to do more with that and just whatever he's got going on from a personal standpoint than what the team is doing individually. Now, obviously, there's a role in that with how they've protected him and just the way that the team is playing, and it feels like
if he was winning championships and not hurt, I think he would not be saying this.
It obviously makes it a lot better, but I think the fact that he knows that because of the way the defense is, he has to be perfect, essentially, and kind of has had to do that the last couple of years. It gets a little overwhelming from that standpoint, and I can totally understand it. Now, does that change if you go somewhere else? Not necessarily.
Right. Well, especially if it's
someone said he's depressed now. Wait till he's a Jet.
Jeez. Like, especially if it is more of the personal side of it than anything. And that's something we don't know what he means by that necessarily. We all know, a couple
He's
years.
had a breakup this week. Who knows?
It could be a million things, right? I mean, also, like, if someone texts in, like, hey, life is life, right? Like, life will get you sometimes, and there's things that are going on. Just because you're a professional athlete that has made all this money doesn't mean that there aren't still real life problems. Now, I don't expect anybody listening, to sit here and act like, that's not what life is as well. But just because you have money doesn't mean that you don't have those problems on top of it. And so it's a combination of both. I think the football end is a huge part of this equation, and then there's the personal end. We'll see. I'd be curious. Get to another offseason again. Reset. What's he sounding like? And what is he? If you're the organization,
the team do next year?
Yeah. And if I were him, I would have I would reach out to Andrew Luck. I would just talk to him like, what, were you having these same exact like we think he's sounding like it, but are they having the same type of feelings? And what advice does Andrew Luck regret it? What kind of advice would he give if he could do it differently? But if I'm Zach Taylor, if I'm the general manager, I'm sitting down with Joe Burrow, I'm like, hey, whatever we can do to try to help you get through. Because from a football-only end, if he retires in a year or two, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's obviously it obviously would be devastating from like the football side of things. I wonder
if
if
a total reset, that'd be the worst. One of the worst teams in the league.
I do think, and there were some more comments outside of just these, but even like at the beginning of what he said, where he's trying to find the love of playing football again, and I think that's something that when you're away as much as he is, and when he comes back, he's right out again. That's where I don't think it's the team's performance as much as it is, I'm back and I'm looking forward to this, and he feels fully healthy, and he's going to give it another go. And then 2 games in or a game and a half in, he's hurt again, and then he comes back and he knows that the defense, like it's.
I think some of it's
a
the
lot
injury.
it's a lot of things that are piling on from the standpoint of I want to be able to have fun playing football again, because right now it's not fun, and it's not even necessarily from like the team standpoint. Him just putting on the jersey and going out there doesn't sound like he's having fun. Like that's a hurdle that he's going to have to get over just for them to be the best team that they can be, for him to be the best quarterback that he can be. And obviously, if it takes you taking time off or whatever the case is to figure that out during the offseason, then I think that's,
I hope we're wrong. I hope we're wrong, but it totally feels like we're about to see Andrew Luck 2.0 play out.
I certainly hope not, but I mean, obviously, you can't help but make the comparison when just from the even the injury standpoint alone, like forget these comments. I think as soon as he got hurt early in the season, it was, man, this guy just can't stay healthy. Whether it be a freak injury or whether it be something that's related to his offensive line in terms of lack of production or protection.
I think there's a real part, and like I think that this we don't talk about this as much with athletes because we just assume they're all fine with it. I think it's been pretty clear from the beginning with Joe Burrow, though. I don't think he likes being famous. Like I think it's happened to
sounds
athletes.
like there's a level of that. Yes,
I think there's certain athletes. He talks about how he wants it to be private, how he needs his own space, how that is a safe place. I don't think he likes being famous. And when you're a star quarterback in the NFL, you're famous. You can be an NFL player and not be famous. Not if you're the starting quarterback of an NFL team and you're one of the better ones. Fame finds you. And I think that there's some part of that makes that part of football unenjoyable to him. This idea that in addition to it, he has to live with this level of fame that he doesn't really want.
100%.
You know? That truthfully he doesn't want. And I don't think Andrew Luck wanted it either. That's another thing that I think are similarities between the two of them.
They are in terms of like because Andrew Luck he went to Stanford and he's a super smart individual, obviously, because you have to be smart.
But at Stanford,
to
you're just
degree.
famous at Stanford. You know, you're not famous everywhere.
Exactly, and then you get to be the guy at Andrew Luck, and the same along with Joe Burrow, where I think it was interesting, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, reference the comments that he made about just playing FIFA with his friends. Like that's something that brings him. He brings him a lot of joy, where he can feel like a kid again. That doesn't have not that we don't have responsibilities as adults, but you don't feel the weight of really, in some ways, an entire city on your shoulders and the weight that you have to carry being the face of a franchise and a star quarterback who obviously is very good at what you do. It obviously is tough. And we can't speak from experience because we don't have that experience.
913-586-7965. Obviously, the Joe Burrow situation is one to follow, and I hope that I know we joke and give Drew a hard time, but in terms of what he may or may not be going through, if you're Joe Burrow, hopefully it's something that he can work through and move on and find that, sounds like, love of the game, right? Again.
Yeah, he lost it for a while there.
I think staying healthy is a huge part of that equation as well. All right, let's get to the snitch line here. We do it every couple Thursdays. Wide open, 913-586-7965. Something that's...
Never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut.
Where snitches mostly get away with it.
You are a cover-up artist and you are a liar.
But not a snitch.
The Snitch Line on Cody and Gold on Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan.
Something you need to get off your chest. Something that you've witnessed around the office. Something you've done at work. Something that just happened at Thanksgiving with the family. Something that you're dreading. Maybe in a few weeks with the family. Whatever it may be. 913-586.
We'll take any family.
7965. First one in.
Somebody was being Sharon Moore immediately, which was dark.
Yeah, well, this one I'm gonna censor it a little bit.
Okay.
Someone says they're snitching on a coworker. He didn't see me, but boy, oh boy, I saw him. I saw him scratch and dig in his you-know-what for quite a while and proceeded to sniff. Gross. That's disgusting. That's just disgusting. That is disgusting.
You just gotta call people out like that.
That's disgusting. I don't even know if but I don't know if I want to be in that spot. Like, that's one of those, like, I think you just have to move on. You hope you got to pretend that it did not just happen in front of you.
Just
like,
sometimes you just gotta erase things from your memory. But you're never gonna be able to look at that person the same again. If you saw Drew do that, you're never looking at him as like the same person again.
Well, it's the same that we've talked about it. We have somebody in this building that, certain things in the bathroom on phone calls and stuff while they're going number two. Like, what are you doing?
We talked about that. That was a snitch maybe, or maybe a random question. Full phone calls.
Yeah.
On the throne. I mean, I just like public workplace bathroom here, which is insane to me.
Someone says, I caught my boss making out with a coworker. Should I use it to my advantage? What, you going to blackmail your boss? Is that what you're suggesting?
Maybe. Hey, this is the snitch line, man.
Yeah. What do you think, Cody? What do you think you should do?
I mean, subtly hint that you know about that, but don't straight blackmail. That's always a dangerous game. Subtly hint. Mm-hmm. That way, if things happen to go your way, well then, oh no, what happened? But don't straight up blackmail. From the 816, snitch of the day, heard C-Dot was looking through Mahomes' locker at the Christmas party after he was told not to. That is true.
That is a true story. Yep, that did happen.
Mm-hmm. Can confirm.
Yep, that is a fact. Yep.
And he comes on his show every week, you know, digging through the man's locker. They tell you not to do that.
Yeah, on the tour specifically. They also told us on the tour that women on the tour will leave bracelets in Kelsey's locker, and every night they clean out the locker. So he never gets them, just so you know. Also, they said the second most popular player that gets bracelets and slip of paper with their phone number on it in the locker room, Isaiah Pacheco. Those are the two players that get the most notes left in their lockers.
Oh, okay.
That was the guy on the tour.
They were saying people even were sliding notes in between knee pads to try to make sure the athletes got them.
Come on. From the 816, my girl's giving birth in a few weeks. I'm not dreading it.
Nope.
I'm just happy she's so mean, and I can't tell her that. Pregnancy's made her mean.
And
he's saying that he's not dreading having. She's like, he's great. Can't wait for the baby to get here, so she'll stop being mean. But he can't tell her that. Correct. Right. By the way. Correct.
The hormones are.
I'd maybe let that one go. Matter of fact, I might say the opposite. You're the sweetest person on the planet. Opposite approach.
913-586-7965. We got an update. The gentleman that would always text in way back in 2020 when we first started the snitch line, Olathe the car shop. His name was Rob. Someone says, I don't work there anymore. I have no idea what he's up to. But at the time, Rob at that Olathe random car shop was having an affair.
Yeah. He's accused of a lot by the snitch line, you know? They were trying to figure it out.
Let's see. Someone says, saw Cody cut in front of a child at a hot dog stand just to get a glizzy. Unreal.
That's not true.
What hot dog stand were you at recently?
I did get hot dogs from Quick Trip the other day.
And did you cut in front of somebody? Was there a child there?
My kid was with me, so does that change the cutting? Just one.
Oh, yeah, that definitely.
Kids are allowed to cut,
it does
right?
Not.
Wow,
From
this
the
is
913 got a new job. Boss is legally blind. Now I drive him home every day. Other employees leave early now. So he's saying he drives them home. The second he takes the boss home, everyone's leaving.
Gotcha.
I mean,
it's nice that you're taking the boss
isn't
home.
there. Do I got to be there? You know?
Right.
Classic work.
I will say, is this
what?
Obviously, very, very nice to this individual. Is this something where you're new on the job, so it's your job now to do it to drive the boss home,
I don't know.
Sort of thing, where it's like, it's not like a.
I hear
like
you.
a seniority thing, I guess, or whatever. I don't even know if that'd be a thing.
Someone else from the 913 said they took their boss's wiper blades from his truck during the last snowstorm since he changed my schedule without telling me. So what, you just took his wiper blades
That is
off?
a very inconvenient thing to take from somebody.
Jeez.
Was it snowing too?
Yeah, that's what they said, yeah.
Oh,
During the snowstorm.
man.
Last week or whenever we had it.
That's one of those things, like when people ask those questions, it'd be like, what's an inconvenient thing you could do to somebody that doesn't actually you're not going to get them hurt or change their life, but is inconvenient.
Yeah.
Just not having wiper blades for a brief period. Now, that could be a safety thing, but still.
Someone else said, I'm leaving work right now, snitching on myself to grab a couple beers between boring meetings.
Well. And then you're going to go back, or are you just calling it a day?
It sounds like they're going back. In between meetings?
In between the meetings, yeah. So go grab a beer and go right back.
This person's obviously talking about me. From the 816, had surgery recently. Someone in the next bed next to me giving the nurses a hard time, tried fighting the doctors, and running away from the
Why
bed.
do you think that was you, Cody? Because you did it. That's why. Because you did that.
Legit, it was like just the drugs make you do crazy stuff when you come out of there. And I felt so bad after. I apologized a bunch after I got my wits back about me. But yeah, I was trying to escape.
You
that
hopped
bed.
off the bed and tried to.
Was demanding to be able to use the restroom and other stuff. And
did you say, "Do you know who I am?" to the nurses?
I didn't do that.
If so, I need video and audio of that somehow from the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to do that.
Well, for anyone sick, snitching on myself, lied to my wife about working last night so I could go play poker with the guys instead.
It wouldn't be the first time you did that, right? Wouldn't be the first time.
I mean, if you're doing it now, you're probably doing it before. I would. Ideal situation is you don't have to lie about that, so you can just,
Of course.
go play poker. But it depends on how often you're away,
Where were you last night, Drew?
I
ask only because Cody and I noticed on the IG.
Yeah,
on the IG there was another selfie,
with a winky face.
and it was a selfie, and then you added not even the emoji. You just did. You added a. What was the wink for? What was going on there?
I don't know.
You didn't look like you were at home. It looked like you were at a bathroom at some restaurant or business.
I was at Dave and Buster's. Okay.
You're taking selfies from the Dave and Buster's bathroom.
Hang on.
Damn, dude.
Hang on.
Damn.
I go to, so the wife and I go to Dave & Buster's every Wednesday.
All right.
Every Wednesday.
Yep. Dave & Buster's is great.
Because they've got the half price games.
Yep.
And it's a great hour and a half, 2 hours of time. It's a lot of fun. You get a couple beers and just go play games.
What's up with the winky face, though?
I
It
don't
wasn't even
know.
a winky face, really. You didn't even use the full-on emotion.
I have no idea why I did that.
I think as a now 30-year-old, you can't take selfies at Dave & Buster's from the bathroom. I think it's just like, not you can't take a selfie at all. Not you can't take a selfie in a bathroom. We can have a different argument about that. Specifically, time, circumstance, and place. Just feels like a weird place for a selfie. The Dave & Buster's bathroom. Were you just feeling yourself?
He
a little
liked
bit?
his hoodie he had on.
It was a vibe thing.
All right.
But yeah,
Figure it out.
Dave & Buster's every Wednesday. I love it.
From the 785, searching myself a couple times last week. Home late because I drove all the way to Missouri to get some of those bets that were taking place. They were giving away free money.
It was free money last week. $300 in free money. Those are all gone. We'll never see them again.
You just got to know.
Unless you're a new customer.
I was not at Twin Peaks last night.
Someone said Drew is 30. What did you think? Well, how old did you think he was? He just turned 30 in October.
we talked about it on the show.
September, October.
Man, this one's sad. Someone from the 816 says their son works at a car dealership and says they're selling part of the dealership and 10 people are getting fired. He can't tell anybody.
Ooh.
We don't know. I mean, I
That's
hope
tough.
those people
That
find
sucks.
that is tough, yeah.
That's not good. Huh. Someone's saying Drew meant to share that selfie with, you know how you can do like the close friends group thing on Instagram? That's what he meant to. Same picture, but instead of the wink, it was an eggplant to the other people. Now, how do you know this person texting in? Were you in his close circle? How do you know
I
that
have
that's
one
what
person in my close circle,
one
and
person.
and it's the wife. That's it.
You have a separate closed circle on Instagram. What are you guys sending back and forth? On Instagram, you have a closed circle and it's just your wife.
No, I
just text each other?
I think
Right.
she might have added me as a close friend, and that's why the circle is like green. Like I've only got one close friend on Instagram, and it's her. I don't have any other close friends.
Gotcha.
And at least to my knowledge, I didn't make her a close friend, or I think she made me a close friend, and by default, I don't know. But yeah.
Huh.
Someone asked if I was a child. I mean, I'm genuinely a kid at heart.
There you go.
Which is a good thing to be.
That
Instead of a
is-
curmudgeon at 29 or 30.
That is the snitch line Thursday. 913-586-7965. Up next, we're going to get to what's trending. And then earlier today, Danon Hughes. Happy birthday to him, by the way. His birthday today. He joined us. We asked him about the locker room a little bit and what he saw with the Chiefs and the Texans compared to some other locker rooms. And what does he see in this Chargers offense? That's coming up next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is proud to offer an exclusive and extensive collection of some incredibly rare bourbons, whiskey, and tequilas. Plus, check out our barrel selections that are handcrafted by our team and bottled just for you. Supply is limited. Cheers!
Every NFL Thursday, it's your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel, because with FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot, you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each week. And to get on this Thursday's action, all you're going to have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores the first or last touchdown of the game, you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to take a shot at the jackpot. That's FanDuel.com/Alex for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and President, Kansas. Opt in. Must apply a profit boost token on select market. Prize pool will be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
For moments worth more, celebrate this holiday season with Stella Artois. Stella Artois is teaming up with your local Hy-Vee and Johnny's to help make your holiday gatherings a little brighter. Whether you're hosting family, catching up with friends, or raising a toast to togetherness, let Stella elevate the moment. Visit your nearby Hy-Vee or Johnny's and enter at the Stella Artois displays for a chance to win a $100 gift card. For more details, go to 965thefan.com. Stella Artois. Enjoy responsibly.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code 965 in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for Dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
At Target, great memories start with great prices. Get gingerbread house kits for just $12, plus all the Wondershop baking must-haves. Gather the whole fam, grab some gingerbread kits, and start building sweet moments together. Then keep the joy rolling, baking up tasty treats with Wondershop that'll make the season a blast. Make unforgettable memories with incredible prices on gingerbread kits and Wondershop baking essentials. And step into the holidays, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
2 hours ago,
Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Lowe's December deal drops are here, just in time to give your home some love before holiday hosting. This week, get up to 40% off select major appliances. And members, save an additional $60 on the Maytag top-load laundry pair, now just $9.96. Plus, save up to $20 on select Moen kitchen and bathroom faucets. Shop December deal drops all month long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/17. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit tellytire.com today.
Number one on what's trending, we know the Chiefs will be taking on the Chargers this Sunday, a noon kickoff out at Arrowhead. The game right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan. Couple injury updates from today. Wanye Morris, Jawan Taylor, Nick Bolton all will not practice. Nick Bolton, the new name, it's an illness. Hopefully it's just, he's got a little bug or something like that. My guess is he'll be fine by Sunday. But Jawan Taylor not practicing again, Cody. Probably not playing. Wanye Morris, we already knew that. I mean, that was a pretty serious-looking knee injury. So it feels like we're about to see the same starting offensive line as we just saw, with the exception of Trey Smith being in there for Caliendo,
which certainly
is a big
doesn't
deal.
hurt. Yeah. Next up on what's trending, obviously around the NFL, TJ Watt is currently in the hospital, according to reports, with lung discomfort that started yesterday. Brooke Pryor, who covers the team for ESPN, said he stayed overnight, still in the hospital right now for additional testing. The result of that will dictate his availability for Monday. That, according to Mike Tomlin earlier today. She also said that, the NFLPA's keeping an eye on and everything else. Nobody knows. Apparently had lung discomfort, currently out. We do realize that TJ Watt injury 4 weeks to go could swing a division. I mean, there's only a one-game lead. That's a pretty massive injury.
No, it's
whatever we want to call
it's definitely a massive. Football-wise, the fact that they at least got the Ravens game behind them.
Yeah,
but
that helps.
Obviously, aside from football, that's when you're talking about something like that where it comes out of nowhere, that's always very scary. I'm sure they're doing the full set of tests possible to try to figure out what the hell's going on there. But that's scary stuff for TJ Watt. Elsewhere, college basketball locally, Missouri in action. They're taking on Alabama State. We learned they are the Hornets earlier on today. They're trying to stop a 2-game losing streak after losing to Notre Dame and Kansas.
Next up on what's trending, Mike Yastrzemski signed a 2-year, $23 million deal to be an Atlanta Brave, so he will not be returning to the Royals after the mid-season addition. They also added closer Robert Suarez for 3 years and $45 million. They've been one of the more active teams in this very, very, very early phase of MLB free agency.
Lastly, in college football, other than Sharon Moore, where we've been talking about his situation getting fired in Michigan earlier, there's a report that the LA Bowl will fold after this Saturday's bowl game, among a few bowls that are considering this uncertain postseason future. But the LA Bowl will be no more after this year. This Saturday, it's the first bowl game. Washington and Boise State will take part in that. Hosted by Gronk, I think, still, or whatever it is. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird bowl. It's the last time we'll see it, though. Are you sad?
No.
No? Okay.
I don't care. Is this the first bowl game or has already been one?
I think it's the first. Drew, is this the first one? First bowl game coming up?
Technically, yes. There's also the Cricket Celebration Bowl, which is the two HBCUs that play the SWAC champ and the MEAC champ. They also play in a bowl on Saturday. So those are the two that kick things off.
Gotcha. All right. That's what's trending. Here on Cody and Gold. Earlier today, former Chiefs wide receiver Danon Hughes joined us. He will be part of the broadcast with Mitch Holthus and Josh Klingler this Sunday. Pre-game coverage begins 3 hours before kickoff with Josh Briscoe right here on 96.5 The Fan. Our conversation with Danon Hughes brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue, and brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. We started our conversation asking Danon about the mood of the locker room. He's been in college locker rooms, NFL locker rooms, you name it, as a player, as a broadcaster, ultimate highs, ultimate lows. How did this past Sunday's loss in locker room compare?
Yeah, I think I said last week that Thanksgiving seemed to be the locker room that I saw as the most dejected kind of vibe all across the landscape, offense, defense, special teams. I still stick to that because I think these guys, like, it's just a shock. I think it's an example of what we're probably hearing from a lot of fans around the Chiefs kingdom, is that you sit there and you're waiting for, like, the light to turn on. You're waiting for things to click. You're waiting for, because you've been down this road before and you've come out on the other end. And when you win so many close games and now it's on the other side, it's like, how do we fix this? Like, how come this is happening? What in the world is going on? So I feel like there's a lot of shock. The vibe is just off. And you don't know, as a player, you don't know how to fix it. You feel like you've given it your all, but it's not being handled or it's not coming out the way you'd like. So I feel for them from a player's perspective, because I've been in that locker room and I've lost tough games. And then from a broadcasting standpoint, when you're standing in front of these guys and you got a microphone and a recorder and you're trying to do post-game interviews, even my interviews with Andy Reid, we'll hear my interviews tonight on Players Only, by the way. But, like, even those, like, you're trying to pull out words and you can tell by the tone of their voice that, like, not only do they not want to speak, but they're being professional and doing that part of their job. But they, like, even in their words, they're searching for answers. So it's definitely, we've embarked upon uncharted territory, obviously, but it's just a confusing time for a lot of people because there are a lot of teams that are playing worse football than us.
Danon, it feels like go ahead.
Some teams that are playing worse football than us that actually have better records than us. So that's what makes it also a weird dynamic.
It's like, so, Danon, we use it as a phrase more in baseball, but you know what it genuinely feels like with this team? It's how I describe June pressing. Oh, you're 0 for your last 27, and instead of just, like, I don't know, sticking with your normal swing path, you're trying to keep hitting the ball out of the yard. That's what it felt like when Andy made that call on 4th down. Some of the throws Mahomes has made this year, some of the catches that just go off their hands. It feels like the team is pressing in those big moments.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just that you can dial into those 2, 3, or 5 plays within a game and say, had we converted on this, had we stopped them on this, had we made this field goal, all this would, like, we would be void of all of these questions. And they've done it in the past. And it kind of makes you wonder, and this is definitely something maybe for your text line, it'll be for my text line later, like, would we feel better if we were getting blown out in a few of these games? And then, like, if we were still 6-7, but we had a mixture of close losses and blowouts, would we feel a little bit better that in just saying that this is just an off year? Like, to still have the hope of just less than 10% playoff hopes, still being here, but not feeling good about where the team is because they basically have put us in a position to not really feel good about any specific aspect. And they probably don't feel good about it themselves. Like, it's just weird all around. And I get the reference and the parallel to baseball, but, like, I've never been a part of a locker room that has had so much success in the same exact way they're now experiencing the failure. Like, that's a dynamic that I think is new, not just to us, but it's probably new to a lot of professional sports teams, where you went 17-0 over the 2 previous years in the same way now that you lost six of your 7. Like, to have that be a factor is just a weird dynamic. And it kind of leads you to want to just say, you know what, let's just chalk it up and live for 2026. But yet we're still in the fight. We still have an opportunity. And if we can win these 4 games, I know I just sounded all doom and gloom for the last 5 minutes, but if we can win these 4 games, does any team want to face a 4-game winning streak Chiefs team?
No.
And I would say they probably wouldn't.
We're talking to Dane and Hughes here on 96.5 The Fan, and I hear you about the close margins this year and some of the big moments, obviously, where they have not made the plays. But if you look into the offseason, do you believe this coaching staff, which has had as much success as any coaching staff together has ever had, really, in the National Football League, do you believe if they miss the playoffs that they are really willing to look internally, though, as a staff, as an organization, and recognize that it is more, or maybe you don't think it is either, Dane, but like it is more than just a play here or there. I guess my question, are they going to still say, you know what, we just had some bad luck this year, we don't really need to change all that much? That scares me if that's their thought process.
Yeah, I don't think that would be the case. To be quite honest, I was somewhat surprised that everything stayed intact and that we got even the players back that wanted to re-sign either prior to last season or prior to this season to stay intact. But it's hard, man, when you think about how tough it is to win playoff games, to get to the Super Bowl, to go to 3 straight Super Bowls. Like, it's tough to say, you know what, I'm going to go see what's on the other side of the fence. Because we also have a body of work, or we have a history and resume of other coaches from other organizations that have gone and tried that and failed and wish they would have stayed where they were or had an opportunity to go back to where they were. Think of Josh McDaniels up at the Patriots. Like, there's a litany of guys that you can say, you know what, I tested the waters, even as players. Heck, there's Chiefs ambassadors that have been long removed from the Chiefs organization that, regret the day that they tested free agency and left. And now they're back and connected with the organization because they realized how special it was. So I think it's a normal part of the game. I will say this, I would not be surprised to see an exodus of either guys or coaches, just because you've had the success, you went to 3 straight Super Bowls, you lost, you felt like you wanted a redemption opportunity, and that may not come to fruition. And you may look to see, okay, where else can I go while I still have a hot name, while I still have shown the ability to coach at an elite level or play at an elite level, where can I go next? So I would not be surprised to see maybe not a mass exodus, but definitely some guys that'll be testing the waters and moving on.
What did you make of, or what do you make for the rest of the season, what they're going to have to do on the offensive line? Maybe Jawan Taylor comes back at some point. We'll see. But right now it's Esapole and Jalen Moore. And, maybe Trey Smith, he at least practiced yesterday, so maybe it won't be Mike Caliendo at right guard. Like the 4-game winning streak, let's just say that's on the table. Can they do it with this offensive line? Did you see enough out of Esapole to think that he could be a starting left tackle the rest of the way if needed?
I saw enough to say continue to throw him in there. Now, will that equate to 4 wins? All we can do is hope. And there is a component of Esapole is just like a lot of players, and I said this with Dusty and Fesco earlier this week. It's like that pitcher that got called up from AAA that crazily winds up going 7 innings of no-hit ball in his first start. It's like nobody has a scouting report. Nobody knows about his stuff. He's able to pitch elite. And then when they figure him out, you want to see, okay, now after 3, 4, 5 starts, what do we have? So if Esapole is going to be a guy that they're going to consider to replace Jawan Taylor, if they're going to consider to be in the mix as a tackle for the Chiefs in the future, might as well throw him out there. He did not show anything against the Texans that gives me pause about throwing him back out there. There was not anything that I would say, you know what, he's in over his skis. The game is too fast for him. His head was spinning or anything like that. So I'd say throw him back in there. I mean, I was that guy. I had opportunities to start a few games in my career, but I was relegated to a number 4, number 5 receiver for most of my time. And then I had those opportunities thrown at me, and I tried to make the best of them. And I don't think anybody had any regrets when they were given to me. So I feel like I maybe I'm a little biased to those guys, to the Jalen Moores and the Esapoles. Like, give them a chance, and let's see what they can do. We already know what the other guys can do. Let's see what the young guys can.
I know you got to run. One final question, though, Dane. And the Chargers come to town on Sunday. This is a Chargers team that is really, really banged up, still is. That's been the case for much of this season. We saw what they were able to do, though, in overtime and get a win against Philadelphia. What are you seeing from their offense right now in particular, and what the Chiefs are going to have to do?
What I'm seeing is Justin Herbert kind of living up to what people have thought about him. He's kind of been hot and cold. You know, you always find, like, he's 6'6", and he's got a howitzer of an arm, and you know, he's been that kind of guy that you've always waited for to see if he can kind of make that step, make that jump. And now playing with basically a broken left hand, toughing it out, you know, running the ball exceptionally well. He ran it well and really saved them with his legs last week in that game. And then also, we all remember the opener against us, him using his legs to secure that win. So that toughness on display, but they have some similar injuries on their offensive line like we have, and they can be susceptible. We just got to figure out a way to keep him contained and not allow him to beat us. They have some weapons. They have their running back as well, a nice 1-2 punch with he and Vidal. So, and they got something to prove. Like, they want to, just like I said last week, they want to be the team that puts the final nail in the coffin of the Chiefs. Like, I feel like what we're going to see in these last 4 games are teams, especially 2 of them, between the Broncos on Christmas night and this game coming up. Like, they have extra incentive to be the team within our division that put the nail in the 2025 version of the Kansas City Chiefs. And we have to take that into consideration and realize there's still fight. Like, you're saying there's a chance, like Dumb and Dumber. There is a chance. It's a small chance, but these guys got to step up and not give up.
So that was Dayton Hughes earlier today talking about just as the player mindset. You know, you have to convince yourself that, and I get you have to. You know, if you're Patrick Mahomes, and you got to convince everybody else on the team that, hey, this is a team that has a shot still to figure this thing out. And I think we all know what the reality is, but if you're in that spot, you can't operate that way. And it certainly gets easier to believe that. And the only way you can continue to even try to convince yourself is if you win on Sunday against the Chargers. You drop to the Chargers on Sunday, nobody can convince anybody of anything. It's over for even them in the locker room, I think.
Yeah.
At that point, so.
I mean, I don't know how you could even, they probably wouldn't be, mathematically eliminated, but.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, come on, you know?
Yeah.
And that would be the issue during the final 3 games if you're Andy Reid. How do you get the team up for that? You think it's hard enough now heading into this game? At least this one's a division rival. Imagine if you lose this one and then you got to convince your team to get up for a game in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans. That doesn't matter.
Future Matt Nagy team, maybe, according to Yahoo Sports.
I saw that.
We can talk more about that tomorrow.
He's going to get interviews. He's going to get interviews.
We
all know
that.
that.
The GM there is Mike Borgonzi.
Yeah, he'll get interviews for sure.
So I imagine one of them will be with the guy he used to work with. But yeah, no. So
does he believe in Cam Ward? I'll give Cam Ward credit. I told you I was very critical.
He's played a little bit better.
I feel like the last 2 or 3 weeks he has looked the best he has looked. It was really, really rough.
He needs some help. They have nobody
Who
around
is
him.
their lead wide? It was supposed to be Calvin Ridley. He's been hurt the whole damn year.
He's been hurt.
And he wasn't good before he got hurt.
It's a group of Iomanor or whatever, and then the Chamiri Dike or whatever or something like that.
Florida, yeah.
I mean, it's a rough. Is that right? It's a rough group.
If I've never even I'm in 80,000 fantasy leagues.
DK is in my dynasty. He's on my DK taxis. He's on my taxi squad. That's the reason why I know that name.
And you're telling me that I can't even name a single weapon
Tony Pollard had a nice game, but he's not been good all year. He had a nice game last week, though, when they beat the Browns. He ran all over
That might be the most recognizable name outside of Calvin Ridley that he's got on the offense.
Is an Anthony Ferkser still there? Is an Anthony Ferkser on the roster, Cody?
Nick Short losing a bet to me because he was convinced Anthony, he said way too high of a number. Ferkser was going to get like 50 yards
or whatever.
Sure.
They should absolutely.
Okanowo is the leading wide receiver on the team for the year.
The Titans should absolutely trade back.
How many yards do you think he has? He is the leading wide receiver on the
494 yards.
Too high still somehow.
Still
too high, Drew. You started with a 4 and it wasn't low enough. 426 is the answer. There's some guy on their team named Gunnar Helm who plays tight end
in Texas.
No, that was a guy
300
very high
yards.
on, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, is that why? You guys knew who he was?
I actually do.
They're still playing Van Jefferson and Tajay Spears on this team.
Van Jefferson, hey.
Maybe get him a wide receiver. Any wide receiver who's available.
Wherever
trade
they're
for
at,
one.
They should trade back.
Yeah, they need a lot. They need a lot on their roster.
But you got to start with you. I think that this is such a. Other than stop firing the head coach in the middle of year 1 when you draft a quarterback number 1 overall. Number 2 for me would be get him one reliable big time weapon.
Yeah.
You spent all this money on a quarterback. You finally wanted to get it right, and you're making his ass.
They actually should draft Jeremiah Love.
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
And Van Jefferson. Get him a real
have Jeremiah
weapon.
Love to help out your second-year quarterback in Cam Ward. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Give him something. Give him some kind of offensive weapon. Don't make the man go out there and do it by himself. Find him one person to throw the football to.
A lot.
Yeah, no wonder he's looked bad. Look at the people he's throwing to.
Yeah, no, it's a joke. And he's got an interim OC/head coach.
That doesn't help either.
By the time this